All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. It is Thursday, September 26th, 3:46 p.m. What a day in the global capital equities markets. Folks, we have so much going on, so much to discuss. Pretty green day. Pretty green day. We've gave back some of the gains in certain stocks. Some stocks took a little bit of a hit based on different headlines that came out. But overall, a pretty exciting day based on a variety of things that have happened in the context of the macro that we're going to discuss and go through even deeper. This, I think, is the star of the day. Bitcoin almost got to 65,849, roundabout at 110. Now it's 65,100. It's holding 65, which is really special to me. I mean, the idea that we're breaking these levels and getting there, yes, we've fallen below 65 a ton of times and we're kind of hovering right above it. But the fact that it's holding this high 64, 65 range based on likely, in my opinion, the China stimulus that we got last night, which factored into the price this morning, I think is why things are getting excited. Outside of Bitcoin, you got the S&P 500 at 572, almost up 0.5% on the day. It went all the way down to 569.9. Again, about an hour ago, now right back to 572, hit a high at 575. We'll review some of the macro data that came out this morning that helped us get to these levels. And then you got Palantir that went all the way down to 36.60. It's a little red on the day at 37.11, but then made a U-turn and got to a high of about 37.40 now at 37.11. I think we're going to close. We'll see. We got 13 minutes left, maybe above 37. That would be, I think, the third or fourth close above 37, which is just incredible. Having factored in that Peter Thiel and Alice Corp did sell about 20 million shares over the past couple of days. I'll take it. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. And then you've got BABA that is really not giving up too much of the gains. 9.85%, $104 on the day. We saw David Tepper on CBC today say, hey, basically buy China. Buy China, buy China, buy China. And if you believe in his analysis, then maybe China's a good long. If you're still skeptical, I think that's totally understandable. But based on what happened last night, you got a lot of people starting to switch their tone in terms of how they're thinking of China. And then, yes, of course, how could I forget PayPal? We got PayPal here at $80 freaking dollars, $80.24. Look at that. Look at PayPal, 3.24% on the day. Absolutely incredible day for PayPal. This stock was just below 50 at one point this year. It was really dead money for a while. It's made its way back. And Street's starting to realize, hey, buying back 10% of your float maybe is not the worst thing when it comes to the share price. And growing at 8-9% is still pretty damn good, especially with the margins that PayPal has for their free cash flow. So not bad at all. All right. So what has happened over the past 24 hours that has kind of caused all of this to occur? There's kind of four main things. Number one, China decided to pump in $142 billion of stimulus last night into their banks. So that's the first thing. That happened. That was a big deal. That pumped up China. That pumped up, I think, Bitcoin. All risk assets realized that they had more liquidity. The Nikkei in Japan, that started going up higher as well. And it makes sense. More liquidity, more investable assets, more people trying to say, hey, we want to get our stock market to go higher, especially in the context of China. That helps the entire world. Again, we talked about it yesterday, but China affects everything. And for the past couple of years, China really was lagging. And, the rest of the world was moving forward. So if China's not lagging anymore and the rest of the world can benefit from the efficiencies in their supply chains, et cetera, that's going to be a good thing. So that's the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened is oil. I found this out this morning when we saw that airlines were down or up about 5% on average today. Oil's down about 3.4%, 67. OPEC is pumping up more oil. The Saudis decided they're not going to wait for 100 a barrel. And because they're not waiting for 100 a barrel, they're going to be pumping more oil. More oil means more supply in the market. More supply in the market means that we're going to have more competition, which should reduce prices per barrel. And that'll obviously reduce prices at the pump for people across the world, and definitely in America. So that's a big thing. That is another form of stimulus to the market. You got China printing, and then you got oil prices going down. Again, everything that we know, everything that we can touch and feel has oil as some component to it in terms of its raw goods, supply chains, commodities, all that stuff. So that's bullish. And then you had the, what was I going to say? And then after oil, you had the jobless claims come out. And the jobless claims were also bullish. We had 118,000 jobless claims versus 225,000 expected, which was really nice to see. And we had GDP coming at 3%. So you've got China doing what they need to do. You got the Saudis pumping oil. You got our American economy in terms of GDP growth coming in line with expectations, job growth coming below expectations, which is good because you don't want to have initial jobless claims coming higher than expected. These are a lot of things coming together. We got Costco after the bell. We'll get an update from what's happening in Costco that are just compounding in a way that's allowing us to feel, or at least allowing the market to think that, hey, maybe things are doing all right. Now, in terms of fear and greed, let's take a look at that. Although some of the macro stuff is looking nice, fear and greed, not the best. We are about 3 points away from extreme greed. From extreme greed. We also have BlackBerry earnings today. Yeah, put in the chat if you own BlackBerry stock. I know there's actually there's a bit of a cult following around BlackBerry. People dismiss that one, but there are some people that care about that one. So let me know if you care about BlackBerry. I'll put that on my list today. So we have today's 9/26. Costco and BlackBerry. That's what we'll be looking at. So fear and greed. I mean, look, historically, when you get into extreme greed, you tend to see a little bit of a pullback. Does that mean a massive crash or anything? No, it doesn't have to mean that, but it could mean that, yeah, we're getting a bit frothy right here. And given that we're coming up into the election, I would imagine that you could see some momentum to the downside, or given the money printers are being turned on, given the Fed is going to raise or lower rates again, you could probably see some more momentum. The final thing I was going to say as well, outside of the economic data we have and outside of the Saudis and outside of the China stimulus, is J-Pow talked this morning. And it was a 2-minute video, but he basically said, hey, we're working really hard to make sure we do what we got to do. Janet Yellen said we're probably going to have a soft landing. And you've got all those forces coming together. It's just harder, especially if Q3 earnings is good, to be in the camp that there's going to be this massive recession over the next couple of weeks. PCE tomorrow as well, or next couple of months. Yes, PCE, I'll be live at 8:20. That's going to be a big one. I did buy another 200 shares of Robinhood today. I like Robinhood, dude. I like it. It's holding 22 really nicely. Maybe it falls below 22. I'll buy more if it goes into the 21s. But I think at this point, one of the main catalysts that I like on Robinhood as well is Bitcoin's acting like it should act, to be honest. It's getting more exciting. And so Bitcoin is the catalyst for Robinhood that really propels it outside of fundamentals around Robinhood's core business, because Bitcoin trading volumes just help it in and of itself, and it's kind of algorithmically tied to that. So if Bitcoin's doing well, I like Robinhood here in the mid 22s. Bought another couple hundred shares today, and if we get a dip in October on Bitcoin, we'll probably get a dip in Robinhood, and I'll buy it again there. But I do think that momentum is something that I like seeing, and I think that's obviously very bullish for Robinhood. 37.07 on here on Palantir. PayPal $18.80.18. Tesla 253. Tesla down 1.43% today. It hit 262. And then it came back down. So Tesla up 18% over the past couple weeks, or the past 2 weeks. It really can't maintain some of that momentum today. I think that's all right. But it is down 1.43%. And then we have SMCI, this bad boy, down 12%. At one point, it was down 15% below 400. The DOJ is putting a probe into SMCI for something. We don't know what the reason is, but it's for something. And potentially accounting practices. They still haven't filed their 10K. That is going to be something that potentially affects the price and might affect all the other semis. Where's NVIDIA? I actually haven't looked at NVIDIA in a little bit. NVIDIA 123. So NVIDIA holding on to its green. It was at 127 at one point, pushing 128. There's that green candle right there, bottomed at 123.65, but still is green right here on the day. Tesla still in the 250 is a good threshold. I agree. Tesla in the 250 is a very, very good threshold. Now here's something about SMCI that someone sent me. You know how we talk about on this channel that everyone, or not everyone, but someone always knows? Well, someone 12 minutes before the news came out, 12 minutes before, I was like, oh my God, there's this big red candle in SMCI. Someone bought 191 $420 puts at 17 cents for $3,247. They are now worth $649,000 because SMCI fell below 400. Someone always knows. Someone always knows. So obviously, dude, no one buys that many contracts for a 420 strike the day of expiring tomorrow. So it's like basically a 1-day contract if they don't think there's going to be a big move. And then there you go. You get your big move and someone makes a lot of money and they go about their life. So very interesting day in the market with the SMCI headline. I mean, over the past couple of months in terms of covering the market, this day is reminding me a little bit, not in terms of the meme stock frenzy that we had with GameStop in May, but there's a lot of headlines. And then you got this whole OpenAI stuff that has not fully been resolved. I mean, we don't have any updates on what's going on at the company. Elon's been tweeting all day trying to figure out what the hell's happening. No one really knows. Everyone's just assuming that Sam Altman decided he wanted to make some money. Oh, here's a clip on this. Let me play this. A 1-minute clip. Here's Sam Altman actually talking about the concept of getting equity a year ago on the All In podcast.
I wish I had taken equity so I never had to answer this question. If I could
But
go back in time.
Why don't they give you a grant now?
Yeah,
Why doesn't the board just give you a big option grant like you deserve?
Yeah, give you 5 points. What was the decision back then? Like, why was that so important?
The decision back then, the original reason was just like the structure of our nonprofit. It was like there was something about, yeah, okay, this is like nice from a motivations perspective, but mostly it was that our board needed to be a majority of disinterested directors. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need equity right now. I kind of, but in
this weird way, now that you're running a company, it creates these weird questions of like, well, what's your real motivation versus
it is so deeply one thing I have noticed, it's so deeply unimaginable to people to say, I don't really need more money. Like, and
I think people think it's a little bit of an ulterior motive. I think.
No, it assumes
it's like, what else is he doing on the side to make money?
Yeah.
If I were just trying to say like, I'm going to try to make $1 trillion with OpenAI, I think everybody would have an easier time, and it would save me. It would save a lot of conspiracy theories.
Look, I mean, put it in the chat. I'm curious what you guys have to say, but when someone says, I don't need more money, I usually think they're full of shit. I think even some of the most richest people, all they want is more money. That doesn't mean that they're obsessed with getting more money. That doesn't mean they don't care about anything else like their family or etc. But the idea that you don't want more money, even if you have a lot of money, I disagree. I disagree. Maybe I haven't made enough money to know what that feels like, but from my understanding, I think if you have money, not only do you want to protect it, you want to see it grow, because you become addicted to having more money. So and Sam Altman's I don't think Sam Altman was a billionaire before this 7% equity stake where he became a deca-billionaire overnight. He's invested in startups that have done well. He was on the board of YC, but never a stake in a private company that was worth $1 billion, to my understanding. So I would imagine, he's probably worth hundreds of millions, but not billions. When you get into that ball game, you want more, dude. Like, yeah, especially when you're playing at these levels where something like OpenAI could be worth. I mean, could you imagine being the CEO of a company? Let's just say OpenAI goes to $2 trillion in 20 years and you own none of it. You have a nice $560,000 per year salary and you got some health insurance. Like, there is no human on the planet that would be incentivized and motivated to like feel that they're like, like they're appreciated. Like, everyone wants a piece of the pie, especially if you're the head guy that's taking all the blame and taking all the credit if things go good or bad. And so I would imagine, that's what he wanted. And that's why we have OpenAI now becoming a for-profit. NVIDIA right here going into 124 on the close. Let's see if that ends up happening. Is Costco 430? Is Costco 430? I think you might be right, dude. BlackBerry should be at 4. We got 40 seconds until the close. Let's see. I think it might be 4:30. You might have to wait till 4:30. Maybe it's 4:15 though as well. We'll see. We'll definitely get BlackBerry, and then we'll see when Costco comes out. Meta dividend payout today. Yes, that's correct. 50 cents for every share of Meta that people own. So if you own some Meta, I think Zucks is getting like an $800 million dividend or something. So Zucks probably wants $1 billion dividend one day. Everyone wants more money. Costco should announce a split. Oh man, that would be crazy if Costco announces a split. Let me do the poll pump or dump in the chat. I'll do that in the chat. Let's see. If Costco does a split, I think it would be exciting. I don't think they would do it, but I mean, actually, no, I do think they would do it. It's just a question of if they actually end up doing it today. All right, 4 p.m. We got some earnings. Thursday, September 26th. The stock market is now closed. All right, let me put that poll in the chat. Costco pump or dump. I do think we have some time. Palantir closes at $37.05. Another $37 close, folks. I mean, it's doing its thing. It's really holding up. Costco earnings. All right, I put the poll in right now. Let's see if we get any results. It's kind of acting crazy after hours. Maybe they do report right at 4 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's at 4 or at least 4:50. I don't think it's all the way till 4:30, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we'll go back to Costco. Polls in the chat. Let's see. Oh, wow. 72% of you say pump. All right, so you guys are bullish on Costco. Robinhood ends the day 22.43. NVIDIA 124. Palantir 37.08. PayPal $80 up 3.5%. Alibaba up 10%, 105. Micron up 14% at 109. Bitcoin just under 65,000 right here at the close. S&P, nice close above 570. I like that. Rocket Lab 869 up another 1% on the day. SoFi 776 up about 39 bips. We got Delta up 7%, JetBlue up 8%, United up 8%, and then we had Southwest that is also doing a buyback, which is also up 5% based on oil prices going down, which is a good thing for airlines. IWM, small caps, up 0.5%. Nothing too crazy, but they did go up a little bit on the day. Mag 7, Apple was green. Microsoft was red. Meta was slightly red, basically flat. So Meta went from 575 back to 567, which makes sense. I think the Meta pump's a little premature. The glasses aren't going to be out for a while. So buying Meta to buy Meta because it's like a good long-term stock, I get it, but buying it just to buy it on the glasses, it's like that's not going to come for a long time. But I think there are some other tailwinds for Meta going into earnings. Google 163, Amazon 191. That was down about 1% today. Nvidia up 0.5%, and then Tesla down about 1%. Although Tesla had one of the better weeks. Where is Costco? Costco, no moves after hours yet. We'll see what happens. Also, Accenture, we talked about it a little bit. They were up 5% today. $1 billion of generative AI sales just for a consulting company. Again, you don't have to own Costco to think, well, if they're doing $1 billion in generative AI consulting, you would imagine the actual companies that are implementing the software, building the chips, etc., probably are starting to see a ton of demand. I mean, we know they have a ton of demand, but these third-party companies that are also helping them implement that software, like an Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, etc., that's obviously very bullish for the broader AI thematic. TSM, $968 billion, about $30 billion away from being a $1 trillion company, 186. I think we got a price target upgrade today by, I think, JP Morgan on TSM, and they said, hey, we think Q3 is going to be really good for them. They're going to continue to do what they have to do. They release monthly numbers like Costco, so everyone kind of knows they're going to be okay. But yeah, they had a bullish note on TSM today as well. Dell up 5% of the day. Let's look at the semis. Did you do any buying or selling today? Put in the chat. Did you do any buying or selling today? Semis today are all green. SMCI excluded. That was something else external to them. ASML, wow, up 5%. AMD was up 4%. AMD definitely outperformed NVIDIA today. I think NVIDIA went down because of SMCI. If SMCI didn't fall 14%, I think AMD or NVIDIA would probably be at 126, 127. NVIDIA is SMCI's third largest client. If I'm not wrong on that, I saw. I'll confirm that, but I believe they're in the top 3 clients. That's what matters. And so I think the street's a little worried if something's wrong with SMCI, that might not be the best for NVIDIA, but we still don't know what the point is of that investigation, and we'll find out. Dell right here, Micron up 13%, Dell up 5%, Lam Research up 6%, ARM up 2%. I mean, semis really had a nice day. Qualcomm up 2.6%, and then you had Broadcom right here up 1.46%, ASML up 4.19%. Where is Costco? Do we have any numbers yet? Costco, a little bit of movement after hours. Let me see if we have numbers. I don't think we do. Also, do you own Costco? Let me know if you own Costco. Chad bought some Nubank. Greg bought some Roblox. Beneficial got some Hood. Dougie Dallas bought China spreads. Okay. So I see some people are going long China. Oh, by the way, I'm sure everyone's heard about the P. Diddy having all the what do you call it? The oil, the baby oil. They found 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Apparently his lawyer today said the reason they found the 1,000 bottles of baby oil was because there was a sale going on in Costco. So the lawyer's trying to convince the police that the baby oil, the justification for 1,000 bottles of baby oil, is because Costco had a great sale on baby oil. So maybe Costco surprises to the upside on, dude. If I was this is why I can't be a CEO of a public company. This is why I cannot be a CEO of a public company, because on that earnings call, I swear on my life, I would be like, you know, our products are doing very well. We are selling some gold bars. We are selling a lot of cakes. They're back in fashion. Or turkey is going to be a big thing. We see baby oil starting to ramp up in terms of our sales. I would just slide it in there. I would just put some baby oil and slide it in there. And I know that there would be some kid who's listening to that call who is dying laughing. The analysts probably don't know why, but some kid would be dying laughing. This is why I can't be a CEO of a public company, because I would say that shit. No one would be able to stop me. I would fucking say that shit. And so I hope the Costco CEO says something like that. They probably won't, because, you know, they want to keep their job and all that stuff. But I would do it. I would have fun doing it too. I would have so much fun. I would be in the earnings prep call just waiting. I'd be rubbing my hands together, getting ready to lay that joke. All right, do we have any numbers? Is this actually a 4:30 thing? Are they going to make us wait till 4:30? I think they're going to make us wait till 4:30. They're going to make us wait till 4:30, dude. They're going to make us wait till 4:30. BlackBerry. What about BlackBerry? Do we have to wait to the BlackBerry? That's up a little bit. Do we have numbers for that? BlackBerry is now a cybersecurity play. I don't know too much about BlackBerry. I have a couple friends who are really bullish on it, but it's now turned into a cybersecurity company versus a cell phone company. Yeah, BlackBerry's not out either. BlackBerry and Costco are not out. Costco, we're expecting $80 billion of revenue and $5.08 a share in EPS. Costco's at $4.15. Okay, perfect. And BlackBerry, we're expecting $140 million in revenue and losing 3 cents a share. BlackBerry is a $2.54 stock. Dude, the volume on BlackBerry is 18 million. Like, people legit care about BlackBerry for some reason. For some reason, people care, and that's why it's getting some momentum. Any input on Oxy? No, my only input is that obviously oil prices that are down, and that's not the best. Wow, it's below 50. Oh, wow. Well, there you go, 49.88. Yeah, all of oil took a beating today as energy prices came down, or as oil prices came down. So a lot of the energy stocks got hit. I don't see how oil starts magically going up back to $80 a barrel. So I don't know why it's exciting to go long oil right now. It would be funny if Warren Buffett comes out and says he just bought the whole company. I mean, he owns a lot of it right now, but maybe it's going to create some attractive prices for future growth when it comes to oil and gas if you are bullish on that broader sector. All right, so Costco, we got 8 minutes. Let's go to Gabriella Santos. This is one of my favorite analysts. Let's get her thoughts on what's going on in the market. We got about 8 minutes, and then we will get Costco earnings. Costco really matters for the consumer, really matters for the broader economy, and it really matters to see if they can confirm that baby oil was indeed on sale, because there are some people in jail right now that would appreciate if Costco CEOs mentioned that. All right, here we go. Here's Gabriella Santos,
market strategist for JP Morgan Asset Management, with us here again at Post 9. Nice to see you. Welcome back.
Nice to see you.
So what are we supposed to do in this market? So we're done with the rate cut. This one.
Yeah.
We're thinking about the elections, like 40 days away. It's nothing. And now we have China, which is stimulating their economy. What does it all mean?
So I think the combination of a proactive Fed, a continued expansion in the U.S., plus some stimulus out of China putting a bottom on Chinese growth is an environment where the global expansion continues and risk assets can continue to do well. So equities and credit. I think the question for investors is, all right, we're normalizing in economic terms and interest rates, but are my portfolios normalized for that environment? And we find that a lot of it tends to be offside.
What does that mean?
Especially if you think about the fixed income side. Cash rates, of course, were at 5.4%. And we found that investors have a lot of excess liquidity, and they've failed to build a core fixed income allocation. So the average portfolio we look at is about 37% allocation of core fixed income, 37 versus what we think would be normal, 65 to 75%. And that's what's coming down. It's cash rates. Post-Fed cut, they are down 26 basis points for the 1 month to 3 month. So that's the area where there's reinvestment risk, and we've already started to see some money to build out just more of a core fixed income allocation.
So you think that the money that's going to come out of cash, money markets and things like that, should find its way into credit more so than equities?
I think so. I think a lot of investors have been a bit barbelled. Either it's cash or it's equities, high yield, private credit. I think,
guys, I just got the money market update. I'll let this play for another 30 seconds. Put in the chat, increase or decrease. What do you think? Increase or decrease? It's a big number. It's either up or down. Increase or decrease. What do you think?
where it's most offsides is more the core fixed income. And there we're talking about investment grade bonds or securitized debt or slightly longer duration paper. That's there for kind of a lock in the income now and get yourself some just in case protection. Within the equity side, there we think there's more space still to rotate within it. Still find portfolios very concentrated by design or not on growth, on the U.S., and there's plenty of opportunity to kind of readjust.
So
Okay, we'll go back to Gabriella. Folks, we have increased money market funds by $120 billion. I don't know how to explain that. Honestly, I need to sit on this one and think for a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that one. That's a lot. That's 120 billion in a week. Are you kidding me? That is the opposite of definitely what I thought would happen. That that's money going into locking in a 4.5% yield, not money going out and going into the market. The only thing I can say right now, I'm going to talk to some people, try to get some more analysis on this, is people are thinking the market's a top right now, and they're selling stocks and going into money market funds. That's what this number screams at me immediately. I think there's more to it than just that. Retail money market funds, 2.5 trillion, institutional 3.85. 120 billion, even if you assume 10% of that is retail and the rest is institutional, that's still, 10, 20 billion bucks. That's not going into the market, going to money markets. Doug says that's rotating out of other risk-free assets, getting ready to go into the market. Maybe that's an argument. Liquidity from China. I don't know if that's the case. You forget for every stock sold, there is a buyer. That's a good point. The people who have been buying these equities, they've been sold the equities by somebody, right? And those people taking those equities, maybe they're dumping it into a 4.5% or 5% or 4.75% yield. Election pause. That's another reason. That's definitely another argument. It could be an election pause. People just holding out for the next couple of weeks. China buying treasuries. Yeah, that also maybe that could be an explanation. That's an interesting one. I'm gonna do some research on that and try to get you guys an answer. Hopefully tomorrow morning. But there you go, 120 billion. We got 3 minutes until Costco, and then we'll see what Costco has to say.
Should be believers in the broadening story as a result of this, looser policy from central banks and the economy holding up.
I think so. It gives us more conviction in the continued soft landing. Once we see and have seen central banks be proactive about normalizing interest rates and focusing on the downside to economic growth. And I think the data this morning also gives us more conviction, especially the revision to GDP and GDI, which kept actual consumption pretty strong at 2.8%, but revised up income and hence up the consumer savings rate by 1.9 percentage points. So there's still a little bit more gas than expected in the tank there for the consumer to keep going, and hence for non-tech related companies to improve.
What's on the line tomorrow morning with PCE, do you think?
So I think the market, rightfully so, is focusing less on the inflation side unless something reaccelerates, which is not expected.
Mm-hmm.
So really what we're focusing on tomorrow is much more the actual consumer spending data, which was near 3%, as we mentioned, in the second quarter. It is actually tracking around 3.5% again this quarter. So as gloomy as people feel, they still are spending at an aggregate level. And this really keeps this pro-risk broadening out theme intact.
If you look at the sector leadership quarter.
All right, Costco has got about a minute left. Costco's got about a minute. We should find out what's happening. Costco slightly going up after hours, but no real numbers yet. You got a little bit of a pump, but then you got a little bit of a red candle as well. We should find out pretty soon. And let's see what happens to Costco. What's the poll? I'm going to end the poll right now. 72% of you say pump. So 70-30 say pump. 30% say dump. So 70-30. All right, ending the poll right there. We had 70-30 on the pump or dump. So most people are thinking it should be a bit of a pump. Okay, we got some green. We're looking at it right now in real time. We got a little bit of green. There you go. We're up 1.3, 1.4, 1.6. It's a slow one, but it's going up there. It's I don't want to say it's fully green. It kind of feels a little fake. Kind of feels like it's trying to figure out if it deserves to go up or down. Remember, Costco's at $900. This is you could argue this is absolutely priced for perfection. So you can make that argument there. Still struggling here. It's still struggling. Let me try to get the numbers. Let me see if I have the numbers. We don't have the numbers there yet. Let's see. It's up. It's like barely up. It's like trying to justify going up right here. Costco. Don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. Apparently, you guys said in the chat they don't even sell baby oil or something. They came out and they said that. So, yeah, there you go. The CEO can't even mention baby oil. Dude, when I heard his lawyer said that, I was like, what? Okay, here we go. EPS of 529 beating 508. Revenue missed. Revenue missed so slightly, dude. Revenue is 79.7 billion, missing expectations of 79.97 billion. So slight miss on revenue. EPS beat by 29 minus 8 is 21, right? Yeah, 21 cents. Now we're red. Yeah, dude, it kind of felt like that. That green was it was struggling to hold on to that green. I don't know if it's going to stay red, but it was really struggling, dude. It was such a I don't want to say fake pump, but it was a pump that just didn't have any momentum at all. There just really wasn't momentum there. I don't think you can say the consumer's weak on this, bro. I mean, they 79.7 billion versus 79.97. That cannot be an argument for consumer weak unless the guidance is really bad. I'll give you that. We'll see about their guidance. But that is not a definitive argument for the consumer being bad. What is a definitive argument you can make is that Costco trades at a 55 forward earnings, which is a little expensive for a company that's not a tech company. Now, there's a lot of amazing parts to the bullish thesis of Costco, so you could justify it, but still, it was. I mean, it's up 50% this year, dude. It's added basically $200 billion of market cap this year. Let's see if I can actually pull up the real numbers. Let me see if I can get some real numbers here. So Costco is now, it's not really dumping, but it is down. Let's see if we can get the numbers here. We need some real numbers. I want to get their segment stuff. Okay, so we'll get a little bit of this stuff and then we'll go deeper into what we got. Let me know if you own Costco here as well, if you bought it recently. EPS 529, operating income 3 billion versus 2.9. That's a beat. Pre-tax profit 3.1 versus 3.5, 3.05. That's a beat. Net income 2.3 billion versus 2.25. That's a beat. Wow, 79 billion in revenue, 2.3 billion of profits. It's a tough business, dude. There's the margin. I wonder how much of this net income is the subscription fee that people pay for Costco and how much is actually the retail business. It's tough to get a margin out of retail. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But you got 2.3 billion right there. So basically they're doing 8 billion trailing 12 months of profit, which is not horrible. Hot dog still 150. Correct. They did not. I mean, Costco stayed pretty loyal during inflation. They did not jack up prices that crazily on a lot of the things people like to eat. All right, down 1.6%, down about $15. So you are getting the red. I think this red is a little bit more of, hey, you guys didn't blow it out of the water. Your stock's $900. It's up 50% year to date, trading at a 55 PE. We can't really justify continuing to buy it. But if it was a bad earnings, or at least it was perceived as a bad earnings, it would be down 5-6%. It would not be teetering and tottering between up 1% or down 1%. So I don't know if this is necessarily the worst thing in the world. They'll make a ton more profit once all the membership fees go up. They've already instituted the membership upgrade, right? I don't know if it's gone into effect yet, but I think they've already said they're going to do a membership upgrade on the fee. Also, Costco has a special dividend, which keeps a lot of people around as well. And that's been very, very good for them. Okay, let's see if we can pull up actual numbers. Costco events and presentations. Okay, here we go. I got it. Let's pull it up. Let's see if we can get some better indications. Also, their September sales were not bad. Their September sales were not, and we got that data. Oh no, we're going to get that data. I meant to say their August sales were not bad. So here is the deck. Here we go. Here's the deck. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with Costco. So 78 billion net sales growth. That's up 1%. In the US, they're up 5%. Canada up 5.5%. International 5.7%. They did open up those 2 locations in Japan as well 2 months ago. Total company up 5.4% year over year. Traffic is up 6.4%. Net income is up 9%. Not horrible for a company of their size. Gross margin 11%. That's actually, I don't know, that's not the operating margin, but that might be better than Amazon. Diluted EPS 529. That's up 8.8% as well. Membership, 90.5% worldwide membership renewal rate, 35 million executive memberships. Wow. That's incredible. 136 million total card holders, 76.2 million paid memberships. So memberships are growing at basically, if you look at the average on all these numbers, 7% year over year, which isn't horrible. 18% e-commerce sales growth, 19% adjusted e-commerce comparable sales. Appliances, wow, look at this. Top sales categories, gold and silver. People are buying the gold bars on Costco's website. That's kind of wild. Buying it on the website. Home furnishing and then gift cards. Appliances, home furnishing, gift cards, and gold. I'm surprised home furnishings is up there given real estate's been kind of slow. But I guess people are shopping for their for some parts of their houses. New mobile application downloads up 29%, site traffic up 8%, average order value up 5%, Costco logistic deliveries up 17%. No, these aren't bad numbers, dude. For a company of their size, they're down barely 1% right now, down 0.73%. These are not horrible numbers at all. Then you have warehouse expansion, you have their Kirkland brand, and that's pretty much it. I mean, if you're a Costco shareholder, I don't think you can be upset at this. I don't think you can be upset at this. Not at all. My husband just went to Costco hurricane supplies. Yeah, so I think some of you guys in Florida are preparing for a hurricane, if I'm not wrong, correct? I'm wishing for the best for everyone who's in Florida. But yeah, hurricane. I don't know the name of this hurricane. What's the name of this hurricane? Helene? Is that what you call it? Helene? Helene? Hurricane Helene? Wow. It looks like this is going to be a category 4 hurricane. Goodness gracious. Yeah, please stay safe and you're in Florida. That's a tough one. Is anyone in Florida right now? That's dealing, Georgia too. So basically the South is dealing with it. Damn, that is not, we're basically getting into that season. So that's not, I mean, it was this time, I think 3 years ago where we had the hurricane in Houston. Was it called Hurricane Harvey? Something like that in Houston. And that was a bad one, dude. That was not a good, that was a tough one. So please, please, please stay safe if you are in that southern part of the world, or at least of the United States. All right, so Costco, yeah, let's get CNBC, let's get their coverage. Costco's not really moving on this. Costco kind of doesn't care. They're still talking about China on CNBC. China, I mean, people are obsessed with China, dude. People are absolutely obsessed with China today. China, all right, we got a little bit of Costco earnings. We got some momentum right here. Let's see, and then we'll talk about a bunch of other stuff. Angel says, I survived Harvey in Houston and then went to Puerto Rico and survived Maria. Goodness, dude. That is crazy. Yeah, that hurricane. I the only hurricane I've really been through is Sandy in New Jersey. That was in 2013. We had like literally the entire state was shut down for like a week. That was the last time I really experienced one. But ever since then, haven't been in one.
On the bottom line, but missing on the top line. EPS coming in at $5.29 a share versus $5.08 a share. And on revenue, the company reporting $79.7 billion, and that's short of the $79.97 that analysts were expecting in the fiscal fourth quarter. Back to you, John.
All right, Angelica, thank you. And those shares now lower. We were just talking about investing overseas. Andrew Ross Sorkin sat down with UK.
Yeah, that's it. Costco is kind of a nothing burger. I mean, I'm trying to find out BlackBerry numbers. I don't have the numbers yet on BlackBerry, but Costco, it was good. I mean, well, I guess, on the call, they'll say whatever they have to say, but it doesn't look like the street cares too much. BlackBerry, do we have those numbers? No, we still don't have BlackBerry. Maybe that's at 4:30. I still don't have BlackBerry. It's not out. BlackBerry's not out. Maybe that one's at 4:30 or maybe that one's 5:30. That one might take some time, but Costco seems like it's not too much of a big deal. Where's Costco? Costco. Yeah, that's it, guys. Costco's Costco. Down 0.5%. I kind of like this, dude. I kind of like nothing volatile on Costco, up or down. Costco's a big company in the context of the consumer. And when we get the transcript tonight on the earnings, I'll try to figure out what they're saying about the consumer. And I'll give you guys those updates tomorrow morning. But the fact that the market's basically willing to say, hey, trading at 55 times earnings, we kind of don't care. Numbers were really good. Nothing to get super excited about. Nothing to get super upset about. We're headed into extreme greed. It's nice to see them not really move on this too much. It really is, because the market kind of is okay. You could argue 55 times earnings on Costco is crazy, but there is a moat, I would argue, on Costco that is substantial. Even if the growth is not crazy. But we just looked at the numbers in certain metrics like mobile web app downloads up 30%. Those are good numbers, and that feeds into that top line growth. But the fact that we're nearing extreme greed and the market's not really tanking it 10, 15%, is nice to see. We were in fear a month ago at 43. So here's the timeline on the chart. Basically right here, August, extreme fear, August 17th. Last time we were at these levels, 72. Wow, look at that, April 1st, and then we fell. This is basically when the S&P fell to 493 at April 19th. And then we went back higher to greed. Then we chilled there. Then we came all the way back down in August. And now we're back here at extreme, or almost close to extreme greed. Interesting. Now here's the one I'm trying to figure out. Money market funds increasing by 120 billion. Guys, 6.42 trillion is the highest we've ever seen. It's more than what we had for the past 15 months when interest rates were at 5% or 5.5%. That one's an interesting one, dude. That really could be people taking profits and saying, you guys can hold these stocks. We're going into bonds and we're just chilling out there for a bit. I mean, that quite literally could be what's happening there. Now, a lot of that is institutional as well. So you might have some institutions trying to get a return on their cash, but I felt like every institution was already trying to get a return on their cash. So I don't know I don't know how much of that really would be institutionals. Walmart is up. Walmart's up on this. WMT, Bitcoin just below 65. Walmart, $80. Yeah, up a little bit after hours. Walmart and Costco both basically up 50% this year. Basically up that much this year. People are expecting inflation to come back with lower rates. I mean, well, tomorrow's PCE number will be good to kind of get a better understanding of it. We did have a couple of inflation numbers this morning. I'll pull those up, which were not bad. I mean, I don't know, dude. With oil coming down this dramatically, inflation to come back. And this oil move wasn't because of the Fed. This oil move was because of the Saudis. So Matt says, tell me why I should go full port oil right now. Yeah, going full port oil right now probably is not the move here. But like oil is one of the biggest components of CPI and PCE. If oil stays down, I don't know if inflation's coming back that much. So jobless claims, 7,000 below expected. That was nice. Core PCE prices came in line, 2.8. PCE, 2.5, 2.5. Tomorrow we get the actual index. And then GDP 3.0 versus 2.9. So we grew. Inflation was calm. And then jobless claims went down. I mean, and then China started printing and the Saudis started pumping. Like all of this happened this morning. Which was relatively good. And that's why I think we saw Bitcoin go up and we saw the broader market get some momentum as well. Tom Lee said that yesterday that institutional money and family wealth is waiting until after the election to deploy capital. I believe him. I think he's probably right about that. Maybe that's the money market fund stuff. Maybe people are just chilling. But see, here's my thing. If you are a institutional money manager, you manage a family office, that means you are net selling equities right now, going into money markets, and then you'll come back after the election. The reason I say this is because you would have already been in money markets if you were waiting until after the election. These are 120 billion new dollars that came in. And by the way, we haven't had a decrease of money market funds basically in the past couple of months. Last week was 20 billion, but that was nothing. So if we haven't had any decreases, it's not like people sold their money market funds, put it into the market on August 5th, saw it go up, take that money out now, and they're putting it back in because we never saw those decreases in the month of August or September or July. So these are people that have to be selling. They have to be getting the capital from somewhere. If not, it would have already been in the money market fund. So I would imagine it's people literally selling stocks, camping out for 6 weeks, and then they'll come back after the election is decided. It seems like that's kind of how it's playing out. BlackBerry's coming out in 1 minute. All right, let's look at BlackBerry's chart. Again, this is more of a cybersecurity company. We were expecting losing 3 cents and doing about 190 million in revenue. I don't know if this is the quarter where it explodes or something, but there are people that believe this is a big cybersecurity play that no one talks about. And so we'll see. 4:30. Let's see if there's any move here. And if we get any momentum, if it does come out at 4:30, if that is actually true. And then we'll see. It was Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel took all of his money, put it into money market funds. Or they're waiting for uncertainty and we'll get in bit by bit. Yeah, that's fair. But my thing is, again, these are net new flows into money markets. So for example, if you have $20 million and you are waiting till after the election. Those $20 million are either in the market right now or they're already in money market funds. So these net new $120 billion of assets that are flowing into money market funds, they have to come from somewhere. They can't come from the money market fund if they're already in the money market fund. So either you're selling crypto, real estate, or stocks and bringing it in. Because if you already had it in and you were already being patient, you would never have taken it out, right? Unless you literally timed it, took it out, and then bought the dip on August 5th. You're selling the top at September or whatever, and then you're putting it back in. The problem with that thesis, even though that's plausible, is that we did not see a net outflow in money market funds in the month of August. You would expect during August 5th, August 17th, where the market collapsed for money to leave money market funds. We didn't see that. We saw more money go into money market funds. So it's got to be coming from somewhere. BlackBerry, by the way, is not moving. So I don't know if those earnings are out yet, but it's not moving. So I don't know. I don't know where that money's come from. I would imagine it's coming from people selling stocks at this time. Like, where else are they getting the money from? Or selling real estate? Costco down 0.5%. Or maybe selling crypto. But if they're selling it, then someone else is buying it right now. It comes from selling loser stocks such as oil and energy sector. Yeah, that's actually a good point. People could be selling stocks that they think are losers and tax loss harvesting and then putting that money into money market funds. So like, for example, if you have Tesla and you have ExxonMobil, maybe you're selling off your Exxon, taking the tax loss, putting it in money market funds, waiting until after the election, then you would buy more Tesla. And that's where the net new funds are coming from. So maybe you're not selling the stocks you like, you're selling the stocks you don't like. And that could be an explanation as well. Tesla FSD take rate is up 5.5x. Hold on, that's big news. Did that just come out right now? Tesla FSD take rate. BlackBerry comes at 5:30. Okay, so we're not going to be around until 5:30. So if you care about BlackBerry, you'll have to wait until 5:30. Doug, where'd you get that from? Where did that headline come from? Tesla's up 5.5 take rate. Oh, by the way, our boy Gordon Johnson continue to reiterate his $24.18 price target. Sorry, $24.86 price target on FSD. So there you go. That's from. I can't wait till Gordon Johnson puts out a price target on Palantir. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see. Where's Tesla? Is Tesla reacting to that? Is that an actual headline that is getting some news? Tesla right here. It's up a little bit after hours. Bros, Dutch Bros. We haven't looked at Dutch Bros in a minute, bro. Dutch Bros. It kind of tanked after earnings last time, right? But it's been decent. Dutch Bros year to date up 5%. Yeah, at one point they were at 40. Now they're at 32. Over the past year, it's up 40%. Maybe we got to revisit that. Google said today it plans to invest $3.3 billion in South Carolina to build 2 new data centers. Wow. Dude, again, it's just sign after sign we're seeing that energy is going to catch a bid. I don't know who the winners are necessarily, but energy stocks that build data centers. There's probably real estate companies, and we have to probably do some research on real estate companies that have a segment of their business just dedicated to data center buildouts. Again, the stat I saw last week was it cost $3 billion to start up a data center in and of itself. That's probably why that $30 billion BlackRock fund is also something happening, is something that they're pursuing as well right now. Makes sense. Google and Microsoft. Okay, yeah, I don't see the FSD take rate thing on Tesla anywhere. Yeah, I don't see. Currently, I don't see that. Oh, no. So Holmars tweeted it. What is Yipit? Tesla FSD take rates up 5.5x according to Yipit. What the heck is Yipit? This is a research firm? Yipit Data. Yipit Data is a research company. If this is the right one, this could be the wrong one. Tesla FSD take rates up 5.5x. That means 550% more people are deciding to sign up to FSD. Is it still $99 a month for FSD? Or do you have to pay $8,000? Is it $99 a month, or do you still have to pay $8,000 for this thing? I feel like it's still $99 a month, if I'm not wrong. Tesla right here, $254. BlackBerry, $254, not really moving, or $2.54. Costco, $901, kind of flat after hours. Palantir, $37.03. Robinhood down a little bit, and then Alibaba down about 0.5% as well. $99 to subscribe, $8,000 to buy it. It's still monthly. It's a hell of a deal, dude. It's a hell of a deal. I mean, $99 a month is not crazy, especially if it saves you more than $99 a month. That is not a horrible idea. Especially if you're just like trying to try it out and seeing if it's even worthwhile. I love FSD so much. Let's pull up a couple things right now. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to Gabriella. Let's get her final take, and then we'll keep going from there. I have a couple of other headlines I want to talk about, but let's finish her thoughts on the broader market.
Today, like utilities are up 17.5, and it's real estate, industrials, and materials. Does that start to switch around a little bit, or is that sort of a bit of a lean in that you're alluding to as well?
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see, especially since mid-July when there was more conviction about a proactive Fed and a soft landing, that we've started to see the contribution from the rest of the market improve. So, for example, since mid-July, the Mag 7 is down 6%. The rest of the market is up 3%. I think part of it is more the broadening out of the AI theme. I think that's what's going on with utilities there and power usage. But there's also this broadening out into other sectors, some more cyclical, some related to other industrial policy, like in industrials. The one that we would like to see participate a bit more, and we think is a bit overlooked, is healthcare. That's another big theme that we shouldn't overlook. All the innovation and therapies, some of which is being generated by AI, by the way, within healthcare.
It's the second worst. I use worst in quotes. It's not like it's had a bad year.
Yeah.
It's just the second worst relative to everything else that's gone up so much more. Why so?
I think, well, traditionally, healthcare ends up underperforming during an election year, even though there isn't that much discussion about it this time around versus other election cycles. But I do think we're very fixated on this other theme of AI and the early beneficiaries AI, and we find it's underappreciated, undervalued, the opportunity, the separate themes in healthcare. The last thing I'll say is a lot of investors have looked to invest in healthcare in the private markets. Venture capital, private equity, where some of the new companies are developing these therapies.
You're watching financials. 2 weeks from tomorrow, we start earnings, and we can talk about earnings separately. But what about the financials and the
Goldman Sachs just said Chinese equities saw their biggest daily net buying today, on Tuesday, so 2 days ago, since March 2021. I would imagine the second largest in the past 10 years, and I would imagine today we had even higher daily inflows than we had on Tuesday, given the new China stimulus that came out. That means in the past decade, we've had the largest day of Chinese inflows. So people are definitely going long China.
message of performance from that group into how we should think about the market's overall performance moving forward?
Yeah, so one of the top 3 performing sectors this year, I think, it speaks to how pessimistic, how gloomy people had gotten last year. So valuations and sentiment positioning do matter. And the second one, that's a prime example of a sector that is benefiting from more enthusiasm around a soft landing, less fears around an upturn in the credit cycle, whether for individuals or corporations. But there, when it comes to financials, specifically when it comes to banks, we would still very much focus on quality, meaning we would still focus on the large cap banks that are more diversified and that have more room to improve or at least maintain their net interest income.
Bottom line for you is that you sound pretty positive on risk assets.
We sound pretty
Fair.
positive. Everything that's going on is just a normalizing economy, normalizing rates. It's really just whether investors are able to actually benefit from this next leg in risk assets by normalizing their exposure within the market to different sectors and themes, including some good stories overseas as well.
Okay, let's bring in Joe Terranova now of Virtus Investment Partners, Malcolm Etheridge as well.
I agree with what most of Gabriella is saying. At the end of the day, her thesis has been pretty strong. I mean, whether you like her analysis or not, she's been pretty consistent over the past 7 months on where she thinks the market's going. And they believe that it is indeed a bull market. And even though it's broadening out, you are still seeing momentum in a lot of different sectors like tech, like small caps, and then something that she thinks should get some more momentum, which is healthcare. Speaking of healthcare, this company Tempus, Kathy keeps selling Palantir to buy this. It was up 5% today. Tempus AI, healthcare AI startup, or not startup, company. I was supposed to do DZ on this a while ago. honestly before AIPCon, but then AIPCon happened and I got really busy. So I've really not done my due diligence on this. Hopefully this weekend I can take a look at this one. They IPO'd this year. It's the first standalone AI company that has actually IPO'd this year. There's not many of them, and Tempest is one of them. And Kathy so far sold 5% of her Palantir position, so about 400,000 shares. And she's loading up this. She's also selling a ton of Roblox. So I'll do some research on this one. It is interesting, but it kind of feels like a feature versus a real product independently of itself. And I could be wrong about that, but I've got to go deeper. Some of you have Tem in the chat. If you have Tem, DM me on Twitter. DM me on Twitter your thesis. I would love to read what people are thinking about Tem. Any PP updates? Let me see. I don't think Meet Kevin's done anything. Is Meet Kevin still bearish, guys? Is he still bearish? Or is he bullish? I feel like eventually he's gonna be bullish. Nope, no. So the last trade Meet Kevin did was sell everything except Ubiquity. He still has, well, he sold some, but he has a lot of that left. Most of it is in bonds right now. His thesis, remember he tweeted a couple of weeks ago, sell everything, or literally on September 6th, he said, go on vacation, buy stocks in November. So far, stocks have done very well since he said that. He could still be right that October sucks, and then really you're supposed to be buying stocks after the election. So we have another month. But I think if he's going to come back, there's no way he comes back into the market before the election. There's no way. I think after the election, he might. But definitely not before. I'm pretty sure he's still too cautious on kind of how the election could play out. Okay, we got this quote right now from TSM executives, or from this article. When Mr. Altman visited TSMC's headquarters in Taiwan shortly after he started his fundraising effort, he told its executives that it would take $7 trillion and many years to build 36 semiconductor plants and additional data centers to fulfill his vision. Two people briefed on the conversation said. TSMC's executives found the idea so absurd that they took to calling Mr. Altman a podcasting bro, one of these people said. Adding just a few more chip-making plants, much less 36, was incredibly risky because of the money involved. They called Sam Altman a podcasting bro. That's a hell of an insult to give to him. Still don't have any clarity on what the hell's going on with the Sam Altman stuff. But we are getting some more details on, I guess, how people are thinking of them. XBI, that's the biotech ETF. How's that doing? That's 30% of IWM. That's up a little bit on the day. Yeah, this one's not really performed too well. Even if it's small caps, a lot of biotech are small caps. Pretty much all the biotechs are small caps outside of like the really big ones. 5% in the past 6 months, year to date up 8%. This one's just risky, dude. We talked about this morning how, I invested in a biotech when I was just starting in 2019. I feel like everyone has that random biotech they think is going to cure the world with whatever disease they're solving. And yeah, biotech is just hard. It's a really hard business. You've got to know the right one. Like you've really got to, and an ETF of a bunch of them that are probably not going to make it. That one's hard to get some momentum, but more liquidity and rate cuts should be good for biotechs, like just generally. But that one is a bit underperforming this year. Thoughts on MicroStrategy? I like MicroStrategy. However, I do think it's a little late to get in my opinion. Now, unless you're convinced Bitcoin's going to 150K, the time to get into MicroStrategy was literally any time over like the past 2 months, not today. Like not when it's at 165 up 9%. Like this is not when you chase MicroStrategy, in my opinion. And it could go to 200 if Bitcoin goes crazy. But I just think the risk reward is not amazing right here. The risk reward was probably a lot better at 110. I mean, where did it go? MicroStrategy, even this month, it was at 113, dude. And then in the past 3 months, it went all the way to 102, which was around that August 5th time. Yeah. Like that was really the time to buy. I mean, a lot of equities, dude. The time to buy was in August. That was the time to buy. So I am also curious, how do we hit all-time highs unless we start getting a lot of chasers? And, like I can handle my liquor. I'm not a chaser. I don't need a chaser. So I wonder who are the people that can't handle their liquor, institutional or retail, that are going to chase MicroStrategy at $180 because someone's going to do it. But I don't know if the risk reward is amazing right now. I'm trying to chase it at these levels. BlackBerry's at 530. BlackBerry's at 530. So if you care about BlackBerry, that'll be at 530. By the way, I'm lying. I absolutely need a chaser. I'm so bad at alcohol, dude. I'm so bad at it. Like in college, everyone made fun of me because I was like, dude, like, give me some orange juice. Give me a Coke. Like, you expect me to I don't get how people take shots of tequila and like Patron, and they act like it's like not a big, like, dude, that shit hurts my soul. Like it's not easy to just down that stuff at all. It's not. It's really not. It's like if I don't have something to drink with tequila, I'm done, dude. I'm dead. Especially when you lick the salt off your hand and something, like, dude, that makes it worse. Like, that's just not. It's not easy to. Yo, when I was at AIPCon, there was an open bar at one of the mixers we were at, and I was with someone, and I was like, and they were drinking, right? And they're like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Can I have a Shirley Temple?" And he just started laughing. He's like, "Motherfucker, you're at a mixer. Like, why don't you?" I was like, "Dude, like, I just need a Shirley Temple." And then he asked the bartender, and the bartender gave it to him. And he was like, "Hey, don't take too many tonight. You're not driving, right?" And I was like, "All right." So I guess we're just making fun of the guy who likes a Sprite with some cherry in it. Okay, I guess people just want to make fun of that guy. But Shirley Temples are really good. I love the taste. I actually like the taste of soda. So mixing vodka or whatever into the soda, it makes the soda taste like, if you want to get drunk, yeah, of course you got to drink it. But the actual taste of it is not good, dude. And I like enjoying like the drink, not just getting drunk. Now, the only exception I'll make is white wine. White wine I love. I love white wine. Why? Because it's easy to drink. It'll get you drunk. At least it gets me drunk. And it's very easy to take down. But all this hardcore liquor stuff that you guys drink, no, dude. Fuck that shit. It's ridiculous. It's too much. Thoughts on beer? I hate beer too, dude. I can't drink beer. I don't have the stomach for it. I don't like it. Bud Light, all that stuff. I can't drink that stuff, dude. It's tough. All right. What other headlines do we have? Do we have anything else? We talked about China, Accenture. We talked about that morning or this morning. Oh, this was hilarious. So this was from one of the executives that left OpenAI. Listen to what he said in his post. Someone highlighted this to me and they sent it to me. Mira, Bob, and Barrett made these decisions. Or no, I think this was part of Sam Altman's tweet. Mira, Bob, and Barrett made these decisions independently of each other. These are the three executives that left, and amicably. But the timing of Mira's decision was such that it made sense to now do this all at once so that we can work together for a smooth handover to the next generation of leadership. He's trying to justify why all three of them quit at once by saying like, oh, it just coincidentally, the timing came together where all three of them quit. It's like, no, dude, three people do not quit on the same day. They don't announce it at the same time. There was obviously something that happened, and that's what's causing some of the problems for people to leave. But still no other updates on Sam Altman besides the little nuggets we're getting from people that think about him. Nothing better than a Budweiser. See, I just don't like how it tastes. Guinness. Okay, I've had Guinness before, and that tastes actually not too bad, but it was like years ago. IPA beer, yes, I've had IPA beer before, but I don't drink it often. I'm just not a big drinker, dude. It's weird. Trump media shareholder dumped more than 7.5 million shares. Oh boy, where is DJT? Not really reacting to that, but it's down 1%. Maybe today, or maybe that moved from like 20 to 13 was the person dumping those shares, and now it's being reported. I wonder who is the. I mean, I don't think it's Trump. Trump just said the other day like he's not selling any of his stock, so I don't think it's Trump. Yeah, there's definitely someone sold 7.525 million shares. Holy crap. People are saying it's the founders that just dumped 11 million worth of stock. The founders of True Social just dumped 11 million DJT shares. They made 150 million. Yeah, it's the United Atlantic Ventures LLC, apparently, is the name of the reporting entity. And they just sold 11 million shares. Well, that's a decent sell on DJT. Crossroads says the timing still seems sus. Yes, 100%. Also, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Crossroads, otherwise known as Roy. He's been on the channel before. We'll have to get you on the channel again, Crossroads, soon, so you can talk us a little bit on how you stayed bullish on this thing when everyone said it was going bankrupt. And today we are seeing $80 freaking a share. So big shout out to Crossroads. He's part of this community. He's been championing PayPal for a long time, especially when people thought it was a dinosaur. And now he's up there. And you got PayPal year to date. Look at that, dude. 30%. I don't care if the 30% comes off from December 25th to December 30th, or if it comes slowly throughout the year. 30% is 30%. I mean, that's outperforming the market. It's outperforming a bunch of different stocks. And it's not even really like a tech company. So incredible stuff for Crossroads there. The people at OpenAI left because they don't want the for-profit. So here's my problem with this theory, right? If you guys raised that an $86 billion funding round, you have to be like the most idiotic people on the planet to think that the company is eventually not going to become a for-profit entity because people are going to want to return even at that $86 billion funding round. So why, when they go to 150 billion on the new funding round and they decide to become a for-profit entity, are you guys like, oh my God, no, this is so unethical. We can't be in a for-profit company because of yada, yada, yada. And then you decide to leave. Like, how did you not know that at the $80 billion funding round, which was just a couple months before? So I feel like it's not because of the nonprofit profit stuff. I think it's because Sam Altman did something, dude. And that's what's causing some of the broader issues here for OpenAI. $2 trillion BNY Mellon Bank receives SEC approval to offer crypto custody services. This came out a couple of days ago, I think. I don't think that's new, but that's bullish. That's super bullish for crypto. But that did come out. I think we talked about that in the market open 2 days ago. But that is very bullish for crypto. SMCI is still down. Remember, SMCI is getting not sued, but they're getting probed by the DOJ. They're still down 0.5% after hours, down 12% on the day. That one's still down. The personal savings rate was also revised up very notably. It declined to 5.2% in Q2 from 5.4 in Q1, previously reported as 3.3 and 3.8. Huh. You know what was interesting today? Janet Yellen said we didn't have a recession in 2022 when we had those 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. So she's basically saying, yeah, we revised those GDP estimates to positive. So we didn't have a recession. So now if they're revising the personal savings rate, which is a good thing if that's going up, but the question is, do you believe that the personal savings rate is actually much higher than before? Here's a question for the chat. Here's a question. Be honest about this. I'll be honest, and I'll give you my answer before you guys go. How many people have an emergency fund? Like a legit emergency fund. It's not invested. It's like put somewhere where, like, if all things go to hell, you have that money. I don't have that. I don't have that at all. I do not have an emergency fund. How many people in the chat actually have a legit emergency fund with like an amount of money that could get you through 6 months to a year if shit hits the fan? Like I'm talking about, it's not, I mean, maybe it could be collecting 5% in some money market, but like you are not even thinking. Like if Palantir goes to $10, you would not take the money out of that and buy Palantir. That type of emergency fund is what I'm talking about, which would be very difficult. If Palantir goes to $10 and you don't touch that, that means you really want that money to just be safe. I did, then Hood dumped into 14 and it was emergency. Oh, that was fun. Okay, that was the funniest thing I've seen from Bay Ray, and that's rare to come by if you know Bay Ray. That was the funniest shit I've seen from Bay Ray in the history of this chat. I did, and then Hood dropped to 14 and it was an emergency. So I dumped it into Hood. Look, he's 23, dude. That's a real emergency. When you're 23 and you've got time on your side and you can let Hood compound, that's an emergency, bro. That's a fucking emergency. Most of you guys are saying you do. Okay, so most of you guys are very responsible here. I hope to start an emergency fund next year. Hopefully we get, I mean, I should be starting it now. Like I could be allocating at least a couple hundred to it every month, but I guess you could say I put it into Robinhood. I mean, like, I guess it's just sitting there. So I guess that's technically, but no, that doesn't count. If it's in my brokerage, there's a world in which it could get invested. That's not like a real emergency fund. But it seems like most of you do. August 5th was an emergency. Dude, that's a good one, dude. That's a good one, bro. It was an emergency. Like, it was a legit emergency. I have my Roth. Yeah, I have my Roth. Does a Roth count as an emergency fund? It could kind of count. Well, I mean, that's a good question, dude. If you like, your Roth like balance could go down if the stocks in your Roth go down. Well, no, because an emergency fund is something you can pull out of, right? you're not supposed to pull out of your Roth. So I wouldn't say that's an emergency fund. I wouldn't say that. No stress invest. I keep roughly 50,000 in cash in a high yield savings account just in case. Everything else is for paying bills or investing. Okay, so here's the next question. How much is an appropriate emergency fund? How much should you have in an emergency fund? I know it's different if people have families and stuff, but in general, how much do you think you should have in your emergency fund? You can withdraw contributions without penalty from Roth. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can do that. 6 months to a year of living. That's what it should be. Emergency fund has to be extremely liquid. That's true. It's just on August 5th, there was an extreme liquidity event that required to access some of that emergency fund money and buy some stocks. 7 months salary, 6 to 9 months, 1 million. Okay, 1 million is a nice emergency fund. 25,000 minimum 4 months expenses. 6 to 12 months for me has to be able to cover all my bills. 6 months of expenses. My emergency fund is BlackBerry, very liquid. 25K. I guess it's subjective for everybody. 1K wouldn't even get me through half a week. Damn, bro, how much are you spending? 1K wouldn't get you through half a week? You spend 1,000 every 3 days? We might have a little issue here, bro. How much spending is going on? How many gourmet dinners are you having, bro? What is that? I kept an emergency fund until I had 500K. Wait, so Doug, does that mean you have 500,000 in the emergency fund? Or are you saying once your net worth superseded 500K, you stopped having emergency fund? Is that what you're saying? That's like 1,300 to you, Amit. Yeah, exactly, bro. And that's a lot of money. Fatal error. What time does Costco report earnings? Fatal. We already had Costco earnings. They were decent. You can scroll back to like the 45-minute part of the stream. They're down 1%. Missed on revenue, beat on EPS. Nothing too crazy up or down for Costco. My house spends 12 to 15,000 a month. I think my expenses a month are like, I don't know, dude. I think per month it's like 1,500, I would say I'm spending. Roundabout. Now, granted, I do live at home. I don't have rent, right? So that's like, yes, I understand that. I get I don't have rent. I probably will have rent in a year. Or not rent, a mortgage, hopefully, in a year. But that is one thing I save big on. And I'm unapologetic about that. I don't give a fuck, dude. I mean, like, if you're lucky enough to stay at home, then, yeah, I think you should take advantage of that in your 20s. But 1,500 a month, I think is my expenses. Now, I also don't have like, kids or anything like that. Not that I know of. I don't think that was a good joke. That was a good one, right? That was a good one. But yeah, I think it's about 1,500. My girlfriend spends 3K a month. A trust fund is such a funny thing to give it to. Your girlfriend has a trust fund? Bro, it's wild. Dude, I had a guy DM me today. I got to show you. Oh, I can't play. Dude, YouTube and the music is so annoying, so I can't play the video. But maybe he's watching this. Shout out to Mo Money on Twitter. He's a junior in college, and he's studying finance. And he said, Amit, I love watching your live streams every morning. I'm a day trader, and I watch your market opens and closes every single day religiously, and I just love them so much. And I said, yo, thank you for watching this. How long you've been day trading? He said, I started about 2 years ago when I was a freshman in college. Now I'm a junior. Hardest thing I've ever tried to do, without a doubt, but I'm loving it more as I've gotten a lot better in the past 4 months. You've inspired me to start making content, and you're in my Instagram day in the life videos all the time. He also called me really funny, which I appreciate. Now, as soon as he said that, I was like, wait a second, you make Instagram day in the life videos? Because I love Instagram day in the life videos. I like watching people's day in the life. And so I went to his TikTok. Again, I can't play the videos because the music or whatever, but I'll put it in the chat. And this guy's like a legit day trader, dude. Like he's like taking it seriously, day trading, and he's still in college right now. So it was really cool. And I looked at some of the videos, and I was like in the corner while he's day trading. So I'll put it in the chat, and you guys can check it out. But that was cool to see. He lied on the funny part. All right, whatever. You can say that today, Bay Ray, because you actually had a really funny joke. Like that one was good. That one was a good one. The emergency one was. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest there. That was a good one. But yeah, if you follow him on TikTok, let him know I sent you, and check out some of his videos, dude. He's a kid. He's 19 or 22 years old, day trading on the side in college. I mean, I love that, dude. We need more people investing young. And it's a good thing, whether it's day trading, investing, I don't care. The fact that you're into the markets, that's what matters. That's what absolutely matters. Okay, so it seems like most people have an investment fund or an emergency fund. And it seems like most people have basically 6 to 12 months. Crossroads says my oldest stays at home, but we charge him rent. See, that's the difficult thing here as an Indian son. Like, my parents won't take I've offered to give my parents like $500-600 a month, and they just won't take it. Now, granted, I don't take money from them for anything. Like, if they say, hey, we need this, or we need milk and eggs, or we need this and that, or my mom needs to fill up our gas, like I have not borrowed like actual cash from my parents since 2015. Because 2016, the reason I can say that 2016, I graduated high school, and then I started my consulting firm. And my consulting firm, I was doing well for myself when I was in college. And so I don't borrow cash from them, but obviously they pay for my shelter because they pay the mortgage. But they just won't take it, dude. Like, they just don't do, like, it's just part of the culture. It's just, I can't convince them to take the money. But I'll spend for anything else, like any other problems and issues in the house or anything like that. And my mom, it's different with my dad. My dad has a problem taking money. Like, my dad won't take money, but my mom doesn't care. Like, if I buy my mom like something tomorrow, she's not going to be like, oh no, I have to pay you back. Or like, my mom doesn't care. If you buy it, my mom is one of the most materialistic people on the planet. And I said that in a loving way. Like, she loves the amount of Amazon packages we get. She loves like holding stuff and like having like presents and shit. So if I buy her stuff, she doesn't care. But my dad is different. My dad is not materialistic at all. And as a result, he doesn't like taking money. BlackBerry's at 5:30. It's not now. So you have to check for BlackBerry at 5:30. You'll be taking care of them in your old age though, right? Yeah, I mean, look, it's part of the Indian culture. It's a little nuanced though. My mom doesn't like that whole concept of like kids taking care of their parents when they're older. She's not a fan of that. She'd rather be in a nursing home, and she's very different from a lot of other Indian parents. They expect the kids to take care of them, right? My mom's different, dude. She's a different breed. So I will want to. I mean, I'm hoping I can, but it's going to be a discussion when we get to that, level where they want to be and how they want to live. My dad definitely took care of his parents before they passed away a couple years ago. My mom can't because my mom's in here and her parents are in India. Now her sister helps take care of her parents in India, my grandparents. But yeah, it definitely is part of the culture. He means financially. Oh yeah, financially is like, again, dude, we spend money on each other all the time. It's just having a formal agreement. Like, if I had a formal agreement with my dad, like, hey, on the 17th, I pay you $800 for rent. Like, he just would not take it. It's just not the way. But I find a way to get him money in different ways. Like, there's different expenses around the house. Like, I find a way, but it's definitely not a consistent $800 a month or anything like that. Are you handling their investments? Yeah, but it's tiny. Like, my dad has a $30,000 Robinhood, and that's done well this year because I've managed it, but it's not anything big. My mom though, my mom's doing really well. She loaded up a ton of Robinhood at 16, and she recently sold at like 22.40 the other day. I think she's up 31% this year, so she's done decent as well. That's the only reason my parents had kids, so we could take care of them. It's getting to that age for them. Yeah, I mean, that happens in a lot of different cultures, but in India, it's more widespread. Again, it's just not part of the Indian culture to like pay rent. It's also not part of the Indian culture to do a nursing home. Like, it's just not our thing. But it's different cultures, right? And so some of my friends that do pay rent, I understand. But the thing is, it's not a pride thing for me. If I was like doing nothing all day with my life and just sitting at home, I've worked my whole life, bro. Since I graduated high school, I have had a job. Job meaning I've had my own way of making money. And I've always had income coming in, which is why I never had to ask my parents for anything. I paid for my own rent when I was in college, all that stuff. And so I've always been self-sufficient. And even before I did YouTube and all that stuff, I was, full-time on my consulting firm. So I just always had money coming in that I was always able to spend my own money. And so now, even though I'm home all day and it might feel like I'm just like unemployed at home, even though, I am working all day when it comes to social media, building a brand. There's a lot of, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm occupied for a good 10 hours a day. really till I slept, dude. I had to keep myself awake today from the market open to the market close because I slept at 2 a.m. last night. I woke up at 6 a.m. and then I woke up to all the Elon retweet quote to it. Dude, that thing has 20 million views, bro. And so I spent from the market open to the market close responding to every single comment on that post because, you know, when you have a post blow up, you really want to maximize the engagement and continue keeping it there and respond. And so, but I'm like so tired and I have a 2-hour Twitter Spaces to do after this. So at some point I just have to like go out for a walk for a little bit, come back, and I'm just staring at a screen all day. And so it's not like work that's like at a corporation or anything. It's in my living room, but it is work, dude. I know some people don't really believe social media or stuff is a work, but to do it professionally, it is a decent amount of work. I'll let you guys know how much I made off this, but I mean, Twitter does pay. Twitter pays, dude, they're paying me like $700 a month. It's not crazy. I found out the hack though to make money on Twitter. It just requires a lot of work. I consulted with a bunch of people on this. I have a friend who's making $4,000 a month on Twitter, so $2,000 every week. And the hack is really you've got to respond to everybody because the verified users that have impressions of advertisements underneath your comments, those are the impressions that pay you a percentage split of revenue. To get more of those, you have to respond to everyone. Now, I already like responding to people because in general, I've never been one of those people that makes a post and then doesn't respond to the comments because I think A, that's not a good way to build your community. B, it's like, if you're making a post, you're expecting a reaction. And so you want to engage with that reaction. Now, I can't literally respond to everybody, but if you do try to respond to everybody and try to give a meaningful response, which means you've got to literally spend, my friend who's making $4,000 a month off of it, 80 hours a week. And 4 hours for 80 hours, 4,000 for 80 hours a week is not the best return on investment, but the broader return on investment is growth, not the money. Even though the money is nice to get from Twitter, you've got to really dedicate time. And it's hard for me to do 80 hours a week because I'm doing 6 times 5, 30 hours on streaming, and you call it basically 35 with the preparation, 2 hours in between. So it's like, that's when I just can't be on Twitter because like I can't be tweeting right now if I'm streaming. So, yeah, it's a different world. The way we got to this conversation though is like you've got to, the reason I don't feel that bad about not paying rent is because A, I've tried and my parents are just not going to accept it. So I'm not going to like fight them on that. B, I'm working all day and you know, it's not like I'm just taking up space in the house doing nothing. It's like I'm working, I'm trying to, you know, build what I need to build. And eventually if this really pays off in a pretty excessive way one day, my parents are going to get the brunt of this money. That's the other thing, dude. It's funny because it's like, I'm not a cheap guy. I don't spend on myself, but when it comes to my parents, I literally went to the bank 2 days ago. I took out $1,000 after I got paid. And that $1,000 I'm going to convert in India to 80,000 or 90,000 rupees, whatever it is. And I'm literally giving out as much money as I can across India. Like I'm going to give like 1,000 rupee tips for a waitress that comes and brings me a cup of chai, who I know is probably making, 50 rupees an hour, which is like a couple dollars. And I just want to give all that money away. So for me, it's about not spending on myself. But if I need to spend on myself, like for example, I needed a flight to go to AIPCon, I spend on myself. I needed to book a hotel. I like those are expenses I'll do to up level my career because those are good opportunities. And then when I need to give money away, I will definitively do what I need to do to give money away. And then if I need to spend on other people, I will also spend as well. So I don't think I'm cheap. So if there is a day where, the millions are coming in somehow, however it may come in, a lot of that money is going back to my parents. Like I don't need that money. I just like the process of making more of it and investing it. But when it comes to paying off the mortgage or any of that stuff, like I would nothing would make me happier than if tomorrow I could pay off the whatever $400,000 mortgage or whatever they have. Like I would love to do that in a second. Now I probably wouldn't do that in cash because that's stupid. I would probably just take over the mortgage from them and invest the rest because I don't think that makes the most sense to just put all that cash into a mortgage for no reason. But I would love to take that burden off of them. That would be nice. What spam is in the chat? Is there some spam in the chat? Yeah, we needed one of the mods to ban him. Sorry, I didn't see that. This guy, Eduardo, is being weird. Yes, one of the mods could ban him. Sorry, I didn't see that. Amid question, does the money given to you in this chat get 100% you? No, I think it's like 70-30. I think YouTube gets 30% and I get 70, something like that. I think YouTube takes 30%, something like that. As I say that, Chris gives me a $10 super. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. You don't have to do that, Chris. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the $10 super chat. You are worth it, Amit. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it. Again, guys, for me, I was actually on the phone with Derek about this today. I am not. It's not about the money. The money will come eventually. This is why I went on that rant the other day about the poet stock and all that shit. By the way, how did that stock do? I am not doing this for the money. It was down 2% today. I am doing this for the long-term brand. That long-term brand will be worth much, 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 much. Like an Elon retweet of 21 million views, it is worth way more than any amount of course sales you can get. Like that is what I'm doing this for. And you get more of that over time. It really compounds, and then you build a brand that's very special. That will pay off. There's no doubt in my mind. But obsessing over the nickels and dimes when there's potentially millions of dollars waiting for you if you actually do it the right way, that's how to navigate this. That's why when I found out he got paid 50 grand to make the video, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I know Alex. He's a smart guy. He's an MIT rocket scientist. Like, he's a smart fucking guy. He's not an idiot. Like, I'm just like, why are you selling out for 50 grand, dude? Like, if you invested in Nvidia this whole year and your portfolio is up, 150% just on Nvidia, then 50 grand should not be, oh my God, I need to do, like, it's just, I don't know, dude. The money is too compelling sometimes, but you got to be better than the money. You got to be better than the money sometimes. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way, but it's not worth it. Jacob, thank you for the 12 euro or pound. Is that a euro or pound? I always get to do it. It's been, how many times has someone given me that symbol, but I've always gotten it wrong? It's something from Europe. Thank you for that, Jacob. Keep doing your stuff. It's awesome. I appreciate you, Jacob. It means the world. Thank you for that. Barry says, I'm with you. Admit money is cool, but I enjoy the process way more. Yep, I agree. So we got to this conversation based on this idea of having an emergency fund. That was the concept, right? Yeah, I don't have an emergency fund, but I need to. And so hopefully we will start that soon. But it seems like most of you guys in the chat have it. And that's good. An emergency fund, even with the amount you're investing, that's great, dude. That's like 6 months to 12 months of an emergency fund is not, oh my God. When I said I'm not doing this for the money, you said Sam Altman. Okay, hold on. I'm just getting those comments. That's actually hilarious. The caveat here is that I do believe there's money in the future. Sam was acting like there's just no money. He's just trying to stop the world with AGI. I do believe if I build a big brand one day, there will be millions of dollars and opportunities available and all that stuff. I'm not blind to that. But when I mean I'm not doing it for the money, I mean, like, I'm not going to take 50,000 to make a video about a penny stock. That's what I mean. That's the difference. There's obviously, yes. Like, I hope I made that clear. Like, I think everything is motivated by the long-term perception of how much money you can make, but doing it, there's a way to do it the right way and a way to do it the wrong way. But money still is the core motivator behind that. Money, fame, power, whatever you want to call it, right? That bucket of stuff that people strive to, that they're ambitious to achieve. Like, that stuff is always there, dude. And anyone who says that's not there is just full of shit. Anyone who says, like, the amount of, dude, you know what's funny? When I was on the USA debate team, the administration that runs the USA debate team, it's called the National Speech and Debate Association. The guy who runs it, I found out, makes like 300 to 500K a year. And I remember finding this out as a senior in high school when I was on that team. And I was like, my mom, who's a teacher at the time, she's like an administrator now. My mom was making like 50, 60 grand a year. I'm like, my mom's doing way more work than this guy. This guy's doing nothing. He's just like, literally, the guy does nothing. Like, I see his day to day. He's doing nothing. He's getting 500. And this is a nonprofit. I'm like, so this guy who's in charge of this nonprofit is getting paid 500 grand. That's like a corporate tech salary. And my mom, who's like actually teaching kids, is getting paid 60 grand. Like, what's going on? And that's when I realized, oh, that guy's in a position of power. And because he's in a position of power, he's able to collect the revenue or the allocation of capital. And whether it's a nonprofit or not, it's about the power and the ambition from getting there. Because if it was really a nonprofit, why would who takes a $500,000 salary as a head of a nonprofit? Like, that money that is going to you could be going back into the nonprofit. Like 500 grand, like any world you live in, 500 grand is a pretty lucrative salary. Like in any state, in any country, like 500 grand is a lot of money. Like, oh, it's not about just doing good in the world. It's about getting compensated because he probably thinks he's doing a really big job to make the nonprofit successful. And if the nonprofit's raking in $50 million of grants and donations, what's 500K to the guy who's running it, right? And so it always comes back down to some level of monetary motivation, but there's a right way to get there and a bad way to get there. And the bad way to get there is to take $50,000 to make a video on a stock. That's the bad way to get there. The right way to get there is to build an authentic community and work your ass off. The name nonprofit shouldn't exist, dude. I'm kind of with you. This is why that $1,000 that I'm taking to India, I'm not giving it to any of the nonprofits I see, because I don't see where that money goes. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to donate to nonprofits, especially if you like believe in the mission, all that stuff. But I legit like seeing someone get money and like they're able to feel it, they're able to hold it, and I know, okay, today that money's making a difference in their life. There's no way that money's not somehow making a difference in their life. And in India, there's more than enough people that would benefit from that. So that's why I'm taking that 1,000 to India. And I calculated that 1,000 just based on like income and all that stuff, certain percentage of it, and that's how I got to 1,000. And so that's what we're going to be doing. Yes, but the best thing you can do is gain assets. Don't work harder, gain more assets. Yeah, I agree. That's why the Alex thing was so surprising to me. I'm like, this guy, he's invested for like 10 years. He has plenty of assets. How is 50,000 like so attractive to him that he's like, oh my God, I got to do this video to make this 50K. It's like, dude, like if you've been investing successfully for 10 years, 50K should not be that like, oh my God, like I need 50. Like this is not like a kid in high school who gets offered 50K to make some YouTube video and they barely have any money. You know, I was surprised by it, dude. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect the one. 50K is 50K though. That's fair. 50K. I mean, the same thing with the FTX guys, right? That was 50,000 a month for FTX. And that one screamed a red flag, dude. Any company that wants to pay 50 grand a month is like, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. What else do we have? What else? How is your reputation and integrity worth 50K? Seriously, I mean, it's a good sum, but compared to your lifetime, that's nothing. That's what I didn't get, dude. I didn't understand that. I was like, dude, the thing about social media growth, when you're really in an S-curve of growth, you can have millions of followers if you do it correctly. You know, if you really build out the opportunities, and then the money is like easy because you just get access to opportunities. Again, the simple example I use every time is because of me meeting Derek and being able to put 25,000 into Figure, which he fought for me to get into that deal. And he worked his ass off to get me into that Series B deal. That 25,000 could turn into, it could turn into zero, but there's a chance it could turn into millions. And that's way more than any amount of $50,000 pump and dump stock videos that I can make. But that happened because he actually like likes me, you know, and and I wasn't selling a coupon code every 2 seconds, because if I was, I'm pretty sure he would have never reached out. So I think there's just so many more ways to win by being authentic. This is why I'm such a big fan of Alex Karp. He did it his way. He was an authentic person for the past 20 years. By the way, Ted Mabry posted this really good chart today on the Palantir employees. And I thought this chart was interesting. So here's what he said right here. He said, keeping a band of exceptionally talented people together for a very long time is borderline impossible. Companies go through phases and humans go through phases. Of course, they go in and out of sync. For Palantir, a person would have to stay committed through phases that included products that were closer to pipe dreams than viable for years. Raising hyped private rounds as a sexy unicorn, being the most maligned company in the valley with literal protesters at your door, having your options underwater, a life-changing event and going public, an 80% drop in stock price, and deciding to climb those mountains all over again with yet a new platform. Must be something in the music. Talk about a hell of a post by the head of commercial at Palantir. So you can see right here, Steph Cohen, 2003, Karp, 2003, Sham, 2006, Dave Glazer, who's the CFO, 2013, Ryan Taylor, CRO, 2010. Employee count, 10 years plus tenure, 320. By the way, I met a guy at the Palantir AIPCon who's been there for 18 years. 18 years at a company is unheard of, bro. Like 18 years is crazy. Before Foundry, you have 493 people. Longer than the average S&P 500 CEO tenure, 7.2 years. You have 676 of those employees. Longer than the median S&P 500 CEO tenure, which is 5 years. 1,179 employees. I mean, those percentages are just insane. And that's because there's a mission and a culture and a value that people enjoy. Like for me, my metrics would be, hey, if I'm doing the market open 2 years from now, and I think we do 2,000 every morning. If that's like 6,000-7,000, and a lot of those 6,000-7,000 are still there that were there 2 years ago, that is like longevity and brand that you can't buy. That's like that's something you got to work for. And I think Palantir is a clear representation of that idea. You build a mission where people literally care and they just don't leave. And then you get the best people in the world that want to continue to stay at the company. It is very, very exciting to build a culture like that. And it's very rare to have those opportunities, dude, to actually have a chance to work at a company, like build an opportunity, build a company like that, or in my case, have a brand that has the potential of getting to that level. You don't give it up for 50 grand for a stock that needs a video to be made about it. It's just, dude, if I was the marketing team of a penny stock, I would not be reaching out to influencers. I would find a way to make short videos about what the company does if it's so revolutionary, and I would just make them go viral on TikTok and Instagram, right? Like I would find a way to make organic content around, in this case, Poet is some semiconductor thingy majiggy technology thing. I mean, if it's so cool, there's definitely an audience on any social media platform that would like stop scrolling if you had an interesting hook and would like listen to what the video is about if it's like the most revolutionary technology on the planet. I would invest money in that and figure it out that way versus like influencer marketing. Or what I'm saying is maybe influencer marketing is more effective, but if you can't do it that way, the way I just described, that means your shit actually isn't that exciting, right? Because you can't actually get people's attention. Palantir, they post a video of Karp talking. People stop and they start listening to what he has to say. Why? Because he gets people's attention. By the way, the Palantir social team is killing it. If you look at their account on Twitter, they are putting out like 5 videos a day. I don't know who's running their social, how they revamped it, but they are absolutely crushing it. Bitcoin back to 65,000. And they're really tapping into more content. Is that not the same as raising money from investors? Yeah, that's fair. And like these are road shows, right? When a company goes public, right? They have to do these road shows and tell their story. But I think when a stock is already public, it's a different concept of raising money. Like when you're about to go public and you're like telling your story, that's fair. When you're already a company that's public and you need to like be over a couple of dollars to stay listed or else you're going to get delisted, then it's a deeper issue on how do you get people to buy the stock. And theoretically, you should have some institutional investors that are willing to take a chance at you when you're lower than $5, and you should be able to have a chance to do that. PayPal is rolling. Where's PayPal right now after hours? Where's PayPal? PayPal 8008, 8020, up 3.52% right now. Google 163, Tesla 254, down about 1%. Costco down 1.2%. Bitcoin is still moving, dude. Bitcoin holding that 65,000 level is also really exciting. Bitcoin 65,058 right now. Are the Bitcoin, where's Coinbase here? We had Jason talk about Coinbase as well the other day. Wow, Coinbase moved 8% on the day. So Coinbase basically moved with MicroStrategy. Coinbase basically moved with MicroStrategy today. Coinbase has been a laggard for the past couple of days, but it's actually moving here a little bit more with Micro. All right, so we're getting a little bit of momentum still in the crypto space, but yeah, in general, I think it's about staying authentic, and that's important. It's a really, really important thing. Barry says the reason I asked was because you're starting. Well, yeah, the reason I was able to raise that money as well is because there was an authentic community there, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're able to raise money for anything, it has to be based on this idea that people actually are willing to take a chance and a risk on a vision and care. The problem with the stock and dump videos is that it's not based on anything authentic. It's based on a transactional relationship that a company has with a marketing influencer, and that influencer then says they're sponsored by the company, which to me just means you have to say good things. Like, do you think a company would give you $50,000 if you made a video saying, hey guys, by the way, this company makes no revenue. They might get delisted if they don't get above a certain dollar on the stock exchange, and they have a high likelihood of failure. Like, no, you wouldn't, the company wouldn't pay you for that. So I think it's about the authenticity in the ask that you make, and then it's based on how your community receives it. And if your community receives it in a positive way, then it's different. From the comments I saw on that video, his community did not receive it in a positive way. BlackBerry, we got 5. You know, we might as well stay until BlackBerry earnings. So we'll see at 5:30. We'll get the results on BlackBerry. And so I guess we'll see how the community ultimately reacts to that long term. In general, I don't think anything's going to happen to ticker symbol. I think he'll be fine. It's nothing that crazy. It's not like FTX or anything like that. Now, if this poet thing goes to like 50 cents, yeah, I think he's going to have some people that are a little upset at him if that happens. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I mean, look, I think he's a smart guy. If he thinks this company is really that important, then maybe it doesn't go to like $1. But if it does, I think people will be a little upset. And that's the risk that you always have to take, right? It's meme stock season. Did Faraday Future still have a good day? Faraday Future, FFIE. Yeah, this thing was still up 10% on the day, dude. Faraday Future was still up 10% on the day. Bailey says you're missing my point. You didn't put out content on TikTok and social media trying to go viral. No, I actually did. I built a YouTube channel, Ray. It wasn't on TikTok, but you get my point. It was on social media. I built an entire YouTube channel. This is my point, is like, if you're trying to either raise money or do something that acquires investors to some extent, you have to be able to put out organic social media content and build your own following. If you pay someone to do it for you, the question simply becomes, what is the relationship between paying that person and the perception of their community, knowing that person is paid, especially in the financial space, dude. Like Joseph Carlson, for example, when he makes a video on a stock, I like Joseph Carlson. I don't agree with him on everything, but when he makes a video on like Visa or Costco or whatever, I know he's been a big Costco bull. I'll take a listen to it. I don't have all the time in the world to listen to his videos, but once here and there, when I listen to his video, I can trust him because I know Costco's not paying him. And I also know that he does good research and analysis. And so I think it's about building that organic community. Now, if Joseph Carlson was getting paid by Costco to make videos, I would heavily be skeptical of his opinion. It's just like not black and white. You have to be skeptical of someone that's being paid. And I know people think I get paid by Palantir, but you can either believe me or not believe me. If there is any money that I got paid, please let me know where Did you guys remember when I went to AIPCon the first time in June and I had a $4,000 credit card bill? That was because I spent a ton of money at AIPCon doing what I need to do to navigate that entire, I think, week I was there or whatever, right? And I posted a screenshot of that credit card bill on Twitter. That was me paying $4,000, right? And so, it's one of the, but see, here's my thing. I don't get paid by Palantir, but one of the beautiful things about covering Palantir is it's allowed me to help build my brand. And so for me, it's like, people are like, oh, wouldn't you want to work at Palantir? You deserve to get paid. I'm like, dude, no. I'm so grateful to Palantir for giving me a subject to talk about that was meaningful enough to get people's attention to then help me build my brand. That is more than enough payment that I could ever ask for. Like, I don't need hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, even if my content has helped the stock theoretically go up billions of dollars in market cap, just because people have used the content to develop a thesis and then ultimately buy the company. I care about the brand longevity of Amit, and to do that, you need to be able to build a brand around stuff people care about and then start taking over. Again, I talked about this a while ago. Everyone needs a moment in time if they're trying to break out on the media landscape where they find a topic that people care about and they can monopolize attention around that topic because they're providing such valuable content around that topic that it forces people to essentially listen to what they have to say. And that's an important thing. I mean, think about what happened with, like, this is some social media stuff, right? Last night, when the whole Sam Altman stuff broke out, I genuinely am curious about business, technology, and finance. This is a big story. It's the biggest story of the week, I would say. So I start tweeting about it. The fact that I'm able to put out, I think, 4 to 5 different takes that I had on the situation, and one of them just so happened to come in front of Elon Musk's feed, and that led to him retweeting it and then getting 20 million impressions. That is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't need. So people are saying, "Oh, how much do you think that post is going to pay you?" I don't know. Maybe it pays a couple $100. I'll show you guys tomorrow. But it's not about the money from that post. It's about the brand awareness. And the only way to get that brand awareness is because I try to monopolize attention during this event that was happening last night, which is Sam Altman, and I tried to give hopefully a decent take. Now, when I woke up, and dude, I literally woke up, I saw the notifications, I looked at the post. Again, I was like half asleep. I had to use the bathroom. I looked at it for a second, 1.8 million views. I was like, oh, wow. I've gotten 1 million views on a post before. Like it's happened. I think it's happened like 10 or 12 times. So I'm like, okay, like cool. 1.8 million. I haven't had it happen in a while. So I'm like, all right, this is nice. I got it. And then I realized it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because I was the smartest guy in the world. It was because fucking Elon pushed it. But it was because I did make that tweet that was his feed. So my point is, being able to monopolize attention at that moment is so important. And that's what I care about, because that is long-term brand awareness. That's what Palantir has done for me. And it's been amazing over the past 2 years because they've executed so well. And because I've been able to cover the story, it's continued to build the brand. That matters more than the money. That will always, always matter more than the money. The Elon retweet was shown in CNBC today. No way. No freaking way. Dude, someone's got to send me that clip. That's wild. That's crazy, dude. That's fun. I got to see that one. I got to see that one. That'll be cool. But see what I'm saying? That's what matters more. That's what matters more. Beneficial says, got to go, gang. Hurricanes are brewing. Yeah, man. Stay safe for all the people in Florida that have to go. Please, please, please stay safe. Hopefully it's not too bad, and praying for you guys. Hopefully you guys can stay safe. Thank you for being here, sir. B&B, BlackBerry's up 2%. BlackBerry's up 2% on earnings. BB, they are not profitable, but they're not losing money. So they made 0 cents a share. The street expected negative 0.03. Revenue 140 million. They had 145. They beat by 5 million, and they beat by 3 cents on EPS. Stock is up 2%. Okay, so for all the people who cared about BlackBerry, there you go. That's your BlackBerry. There we go. Yeah, street doesn't care too much about it, but I mean, decent results, not horrible results. BlackBerry really transitioned, dude. They were a company where you type up stuff on a phone, and now it's a cybersecurity, Internet of Things revenue company. Like, that is wild, dude. Complete change. But there you go. All right, what else do we have in the content? Have you heard of Tune FM? It's a potential long-term Spotify competitor that sounded a bit like your startup. Tune FM. I feel like I've heard of these guys. Oh yeah, tokenized music marketplace. Dude, I don't really believe in the whole Web3 tokenizing stuff. I'm not a big believer of that. I think Spotify is going to win the audio market easily, dude. They have all the users. It's just that simple. It's like, and this is something you learn when you try building stuff and you try to get more users. It is based upon, do you have a go-to-market that can outbeat everybody else when it comes to user acquisition? And if you can't do that, you just can't win, especially in the consumer space. It's the same thing with YouTube, like getting people to watch your videos or like live viewers. It is basically user acquisition, and you have to figure out how can you attract enough attention? How can you work with the algorithms to keep that attention and then build up that following in a sophisticated way? And my strategy has been kind of simple. It's be consistent, show up 2 times a day, become part of people's routine. Like that guy I showed you who watches me every morning. You know, he's in college, and while he's day trading, he has me in the background. That is a way to become part of people's routine. And then number 2 is keep them there. And the way to keep them there is to be good, right? To give value. And the only way to give value, quite frankly, is to like experiment and figure out like, what do people want to hear? What do people not want to hear? How do you adjust? How do you make sure the technology is good? How do you like all these different dynamics? But that's why it's a full-time gig, right? That's why I'm home all day, like actually trying to do it. And this year has been, pretty strong at building it, but it's the price to try to actually get there. So I think when it comes to user acquisition, if you don't have that strategy, it's very hard to succeed. And I think like startups that are public companies that are paying influencers to pump the stock, like they don't know how to get people's attention. This is why, this is why I'm saying the Palantir pivot this year was not just about AI PCon and fucking and revenue growth and commercial boot camps. It was them actually engaging with this organic community that really cares about them. I think that is a big reason, literally, that they have made the pivot, because without acknowledging this organic community and giving them institutional support, I don't think they have the same momentum. And I think a lot of them recognized early on. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of them that have thanked me for the content and reached out to me and all this stuff. I think they realized, yeah, like no one cared about us for so long. Now people care about us. Why are we not tapping into that? Because you've got all these other companies like begging for attention, and Palantir, it's like Palantir's the hot girl at the bar. Everyone's coming up to her and she's just like constantly rejecting everyone. That's basically like what it was for you. Even at $6, Palantir was the hottest girl at the bar. Make no mistake about it. Even at $6, she was wearing a hoodie. You couldn't, but underneath the hood, she was the hottest girl. Everyone knew, even though she's wearing a hoodie, she's the hottest girl at the bar. And, she finally took off the hoodie when she became GAAP profitable. Everyone really realized she was the hottest girl at the bar. And then she started acting like the hottest girl at the bar. And I think sometimes you got to do that. Bitcoin right here, 64,937. Still below 65, but close to that 65 level. Have you heard of Mayo Mania, ticker symbol Mayo, huge startup in the condiments category? I'm mad I actually just went to Webull and looked up Mayo. Not because I believe that's a thing, but I just looked up Mayo just to see if anything pops up. I got Mayora Inda, some OTC stock. That's what happens when I look up Mayo. So there you go. I'm assuming Mayo Mania is not a real thing. Except she's actually a dude. Dude, if Palantir falls back to 20, she's actually a dude. Oh my gosh. She's actually a dude. That's hilarious. I think I might be in New York tomorrow, actually. I might be meeting up with some friends tomorrow. So I might end up going to a bar tomorrow in New York. Ray, thank you for the $2 super chat. Join the resistance, my friends. Mayonnaise forever. I'm telling you guys, you don't know what you don't know. And I know about mayonnaise. And you can either trust me or not, but it is not an ethical thing to engage with that condiment. It's just not. You can either believe me or not, but you just can't. Oh no, I thought our boy Edwin tweeted today. Stock market bear, the Palantir AI imposter thing. He did not tweet. This was an old tweet. He has not said anything about Palantir in a while, dude. He has not said anything. Anyway, hot sauce, mustard, mayo. Okay, hot sauce is definitely at the top. After that is barbecue. After that is ketchup. It's actually hot sauce, barbecue, ketchup. Hot sauce, barbecue, ketchup. I am from Belgium. I'm obliged to eat mayonnaise. Look, this is my thing. In life, you have to be a contrarian sometimes. And so even though you're in Belgium, and I know the Belgian people think that mayonnaise is an ethical thing, you have to take a risk and you have to kind of go against the groupthink of the country. So I would recommend eliminating it from your diet. I would recommend really thinking twice next time you put it into your mouth and join the real resistance, which is getting rid of that condiment from humanity. Apal Love Shah, thank you for the RSD 100. What is RSD? What is that? RSD currency is a Serbian dinar. Thank you for the 100 Serbian dinar. That's from Serbia? Huh. I don't think anyone's ever sent Serbian dinars or dinars, however you say it. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. We had Israeli shekels yesterday. We have all these different currencies popping up. Thank you for that, Apal. Appreciate that. Now you sound like Chris. Dude, I think Chris is getting bullish China. I didn't get to talk to him today, but I think, he tweeted last night he's bullish China. I think Chris is getting bullish China. Fucking Chris, dude. He sees an opportunity and he's like, you know what? We're taking it. I think Chris is bullish. We got to get him on the show tomorrow. I want to get his thesis on China. See what he has to say. How will we make a potato salad without mayo? You eat the potatoes and the salad without the mayo. It's just simple. It's not complicated, dude. It's not like, I don't see, I'm not asking you to get rid of like what's a condiment? I mean, like, I don't know. It's something that people eat every day. Like, I'm not asking you to get rid of salt from your diet. I'm asking you to get rid of mayo. It's a different thing. Don't you think that's a bit of an authorian stance on mayo? Yeah, but I'm like Sam Altman. Sometimes you got to be a bit of an authoritarian, and get shit done. Dude, I definitely think Sam Altman, the more I think about it, the more I think he told these three people to get the hell out. I really think he was tired of all their complaining and nagging about like safety and shit. And he was just like, guys, just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, It's either that or they gave them such little equity and they gave Sam 7%. Or better yet, what if the 7% of equity Sam Altman got was supposed to be divided between all four of them? And what, Sam would have gotten like 1.2% or whatever? And maybe that's why he's like, hey, like, I'm not going to take 1.2%. And then they ended up deciding they wanted to leave and he got all 7. Again, I'm just floating theories out here because we have no idea what happened, but something happened, dude. Something absolutely happened. Unsubscribe due to the stance on Mayo. Look, it is what it is. I can't recover a subscriber from that because I can't change my stance. So if that's how it is, that's how it is. But I guess that's what we're doing. All right. Are we done with all the headlines? I think that's pretty much it. Nothing else is going on. Costco earnings was a nothing burger. Pretty much nothing too crazy happened there. There was this piece of news. Arcade raised 17 million. It's an AI product marketing creation platform. I don't know what the hell this is, but Ashton Kutcher and Reid Hoffman invested in it. Here's the description. Products designed by you in Arcade's AI, crafted by makers just for you. Now everyone can create real things to share, buy, sell, or just for fun. The photo on the left is AI, and the video on the right is the real product an Arcade maker made. So you use their platform to make a product, and then their suppliers make you the AI version of the product. I got to go deeper into figuring out what this is, but 17 million is a lot of money, dude. If that's a Series A, that means the company's worth at least 110 to 150 million. I was speaking with a startup, guys, over the I think I told you guys this, over the weekend. And I was on the phone with the dude. There's a YC startup, and they were like, yeah, we're raising at 20 million. And I was like, why? I was just like, just explain to me why is it 20 million? And dude was like, oh, well, we're 3 ex-Palantir engineers. That's how I got to meet him. And I was like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, okay. I was like, all right. So you think 20 million is justified because you're from Palantir? You're ex-Palantir? I was like, you could be ex-Palantir, ex-Wharton, ex-Harvard. I don't know, like building a startup is hard, dude. It's not easy. And then he was like, also, we have YC funding. We got 7% in the bank or we have 500,000 in the bank from YC. I was like, okay, so you gave up 7% of your startup to Y Combinator at a pretty crappy valuation, because that's what Y Combinator does. They're like an accelerator for startups. And now you're charging me theoretically 20 million to get into your round, even though you can't explain to me why it's worth 20 million. And it's not to pick on the startup. I mean, they're doing what they have to do, right? It's always a negotiation between the investor and this is just natural, right? The investor should be skeptical of the valuation. This is the same thing in the public market, right? Like if you're going to buy Palantir at 37, you should be asking yourself, hey, is it worth paying 85 billion? There's always that question. Startups, there's always some leniency, right? Because startups could theoretically go crazy. That's the whole point of investing at the early stages. But like the dude couldn't explain why it was worth fucking 20 million outside of he used to work at Palantir. And I'm like, dude, I don't care if you worked at Pound. Like, I don't, like, I genuinely, okay, so you're good at technology. That's great. But, like, how do you make this $1 billion company? Like, working at Palantir doesn't, like, I don't think that means much. That really doesn't mean much to me. I love Palantir, but a lot of smart people at Palantir try to do their own thing. Doing your own thing, no matter where you come from, is difficult. So, and I think if your answer to why a company is worth this much is your background, that's weird to me, dude. Like, especially if you don't attach the background to like how that's going to help the company become a unicorn, because that's the whole point of investing in a startup, right? Justin, thank you for the 420 super chat. Thank you for spreading the good word. Mayo is disgusting. Thank you for supporting me in my attempt to spread the message constantly. So yeah, the reason I bring this up is because if they raise 17 million, I do feel it's a little bubbly in the startup market. I mean, just talking to that guy and him saying 20 million AI, and I'm like, what? 20 million for this thing? And I'm like, you guys are pre-revenue. I'm like, and the worst thing about raising at a high level is that the next round you have to raise at a higher level. And so you have to make so much progress to justify that you're worth more than 20 million the next round. And I'm like, do you really think you're going to be worth 40 million on the next raise? Like, are you going to make that much progress in the next 18 months? It's just like, I don't know. Wouldn't you rather want to do 5 to 10 million? That's way more reasonable. That's the average angel round is 5 to 7.5 million. You could give it a little bit of a premium, say 12 to 15, you know, but it's like raising at those levels is hard because now you got to beat those levels on the next one. People said Huang is still selling Nvidia. Is that true? Did he sell Nvidia today? Did we get Palantir sells? Let me check Palantir as well. If he sold Nvidia today, that whole pump of him not selling is like the dumbest thing ever, because that didn't end up happening. Nvidia is down 0.5% after hours. Palantir insider selling. We don't see anything yet. I think it'll come out probably a little bit later. Sometimes it comes out later at night. Is anyone ever at a Mayo milkshake? All right, that's enough. That's enough. Nvidia, do we have any Form 4s? No, I don't see any. Wait, is this? Nope, this was someone else who sold yesterday. It wasn't Jensen. Damn, someone sold some shares yesterday who's been holding them since 2006. Stephen Marks. Who is this guy? Stephen Marks Nvidia. He is I think he's on the board of directors. Oh, he's on the board of directors. Yeah. I think he's still on the board. Damn, 2006. Holding those shares since 2006 is crazy, bro. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. If a company had the ticker Mayo, would you be able to invest? Dude, it's got to be a hell of a company. It's got to be a hell of a company. Amit, do you have options on Hood and shares? I have both. I've been buying more shares recently, but it's much heavier on the options. And if they do well, then I'll be buying more shares in 2025. I've heard you bring up Meet Kevin occasionally. His house hack and team kid hack venture seems as cringy as Poet, but that's just my opinion. So my perspective on his startups are that you know what you're getting into. So that's the real difference between raising money for a startup and then taking money for a public company. The nuance is it's a very simple nuance. When someone's investing in a startup, like I've spoken to people who've invested in House Hack, which is his real estate startup. You are taking a big risk, but you're expecting a massive reward, and you know the odds are you're going to lose your money. So I spoke to one of my friends who like put 10,000 into that startup, and he like loves Kevin. Like he's been a Kevin fan for years, right? And it is what it is. When you're following someone for a long time, you like them. He's seen the work ethic from Kevin, and regardless of your opinion on Kevin, the guy works his ass off, right? Like no one can deny he doesn't work hard. So his logic was, look, I put 10,000 in because I know he's going to work really hard. If it fails, it fails. But I know he's going to give it his all. And so that is reasonable to me. And I think that's perfectly fine, because you want people starting new startups and building new businesses and trying, right? You don't want to discourage people from trying and taking risks. The beautiful thing about America is people try, they fail, but we have so much entrepreneurial spirit that we're willing to like lose money on investments that were probably never going to work, because on the one that does work, you get the next Google, Amazon, whatever, right? Now that's different from a company being public and like having listing requirements and then needing to pay people to get awareness so that they can literally buy the stock. And then you have no idea if the stock gets dumped. You have no idea how the company's going to do on earnings. You have no idea how the insiders are managing this, especially on these like shitty small cap companies that have like 50 million shares in the float. It's just completely different. Completely different, in my opinion. A startup, the risk reward is it's probably going to fail, but you at least give it a shot. And you're kind of throwing money into a burning fire, and you just hope like not all of it burns and maybe the fire gets blown out and that money multiplies. With a public company, there's financials, it's audited, everything's disclosed. And so from that perspective, taking a risk on a public company is still a risk. But then when someone in the financial media is getting paid to tell you to take that risk, that is the issue. That is the fundamental issue. At least that's the issue to me. Like that part is where it's hard. When it's a startup, it's like, all right, it's a fucking startup. Give it a shot. Let's see what happens. When it's a public, and the guy, and Meet Kevin, he's very transparent. He said many times, hey, House Hack could fail. He said that to his audience many times. He's like, look, I'm going to try I did a podcast with him back in January, and he said, hey, I mean, I'm really trying my ass off. I'm doing a lot of different things. One of the, House Hack could fail. He's like telling everyone, hey, I'm occupied. I have a YouTube channel. I have 7 kids. My life's crazy. This thing could fail, but I'm still going to really give it my best. And if people still want to invest after that, then it is what it is. especially because his share structure is like he doesn't get paid until investors get paid. Whereas when YouTubers get paid to promote videos, they like Poet doesn't need to go up for Alex to still make his 50 grand. He's making that 50 grand regardless. Poet could fall to $2. I don't think he cares because he has his money, right? But other people are left holding the bag. And so that's kind of the way I would nuance that idea. He has 7 kids. Yes, he has 7 kids. Oh, we got Rango in the chat. You a house hack investor, Mitt? Rango, I was talking about you. I was literally talking about you. So Rango is the friend I was talking about that invested in house hack. You know, he thought it was a decent idea and he's given it a shot and he believes in Kevin's work ethic. And I think that's a fair investment thesis, especially on a company that could be asymmetric into the risk reward. But I think it's different buying a stock on a recommendation and someone's getting paid to make that recommendation. By the way, CNBC does this stuff too. CNBC will have people that come on and they like are somehow paid to pump from different areas or they got courted to be on the show. Like so you have to be very careful. It's not just like a YouTube thing. It's all across media. So you have to be very careful with this shit. But when someone gets exposed for doing it, you know, then it's just like, all right, we have to evaluate, like, what does this mean and how's this playing out? I can only afford 2 kids in private school, so good for him. Dude, private school is a lot of money. Private school is what? That's like what, 30 grand a year at least? Minimum 30, probably 40. 25, probably the lowest. That's a decent amount of money. Ishan says, I'm a house hack investor in Canada. It's tough when the market is going sideways or downwards. Otherwise, the returns are wealth generational, not a quick return. That's another thing. It's a real estate startup, right? Real estate, that market appreciates over decades. So if Meet Kevin pulls it off, then I think it'll be a great return for investors. And, you know, it'll speak to his execution. Odds are, just statistically speaking, and he's mentioned this, that it's not going to work. And that's like, it is what it is. But you don't diminish people's spirit from trying, especially if they're transparent about how they're doing it. I just think that's different from buying like a public stock when you're told to buy it from someone who got paid. 25 to 30K here in the mid-Atlantic region, dude. Holy shit, that's a lot. I know this because I debated a lot of kids who went to private schools when I was in high school. And I remember looking up their schools, dude. I debated these kids from Harvard Westlake. Harvard Westlake is one of the most premier schools in Los Angeles. And I think it's 50 grand a year. Yeah, look at this, $49,700, bro. Harvard Westlake. Even the name itself sounds like the most elite name on the planet, Harvard Westlake. Like every kid gets into Harvard or Stanford from that school. Pretty much every kid. Not literally every kid, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like you are set for, I mean, I went to one of the guys' house in Los Angeles when I was on the USA debate team when we visited them. Dude, the guy's house had a fucking elevator in it. Like his dad was this movie producer. He used to be a former tennis star. Like it was insane the amount of wealth some people have. And I don't think I even understood how much wealth he had when because I was only like 16, 17. Like now I have a deeper appreciation when I see things that are that luxurious because I'm like, oh my God, that's like a lot of money. But at the time, I don't even think I grasped how much money. Like he lived down the block from Kim Kardashian, bro. Like legit. Like he lived down the block from Chris Paul. They all live in that same area in Beverly Hills. It was a lot of money. I was exposed to a lot of money at that age. But now, now that I'm in the investing community, dude, and you talk to other people that have real money, it's a whole different level. But from a private school perspective, when you have that much money, $50,000 a year for those Harvard Westlake kids, I mean, their parents are making tens of millions of dollars a year. $50,000 a year is nothing, especially if they can control the direction of the education. Because I think the biggest problem with public school right now is, I don't think this is the biggest problem. I think what people think is the biggest problem. I don't really know because I don't have kids, so I can't like judge how my kids are being taught because I don't have kids. Not that I know of. Ha ha ha. But I think the biggest issue is like there are certain things that are being taught that you as a parent, you just don't fully know if you agree with that stuff. Whereas in private school, you can kind of limit. There's like a hard line restriction on, hey, I don't want my kids to learn about this, and I'm not going to keep paying if my kids learn about this type of shit. And you can, make that an apparent thing to the administration, and they're probably going to oblige because you pay a lot of money for that education. So it's different. It's different in terms of how private public school works. My brother went to Harvard Westlake. We were poor. He had a scholarship. Yeah, some people definitely do have a scholarship. There's a percentage of them that have a scholarship, but a lot of them just have really rich parents too, A lot of them have really, really rich parents. I met their. I mean, I remember meeting a lot of them. And again, I don't judge them for that. It's not a bad thing to go to a private school and pay $50,000 a year. That's not a no. There's no judgment coming from me. I'm just saying it was the reality of what it was at the time when I was. Now I did like beating those kids. That was fun in debate. It was fun beating them because it was like, well, I go to a public school. You know, you go to a private school. It's like your $50,000 education can't beat me today, buddy. I remember I beat one of these kids, dude, on a 2-1 decision in the quarterfinal round. Oh my God, he was pissed. He was so pissed he couldn't talk, dude. Because honestly, dude, I probably should have lost. I'm not gonna lie. There are so many rounds in debate. You guys think I can yap on these streams, dude? There were so many rounds in my debate history where I should have lost the debate. And it's like you have 3 judges, you need 2 of them to win and move on to the next round. And then 2 judges just end up saying, well, I thought Amit was very convincing when and you can see the opponent just like ready to fucking kill this judge. Like, what are you talking about? He didn't answer this argument. He didn't. And these judges are like, I remember one time the kid really grilled the judge. We call it grilling in debate. Like if you grill the judge, you're like really grilling them. I've had my fair share of grilling judges after rounds I lost. And you're legit asking these questions, almost like you're like cross-examining them, like you're in court. And you're like, okay, but on this argument with this response, when I said this to what he said, how did you not agree with how this argument ends up winning me the debate? And the amount of times that I heard these judges look down on their flow, which is their notes, that's what we call it, act like they're thinking, look back up, look to the sky before they answer the question. They're like, well, I think Amit made a really good argument in terms of how he was making this perceptual claim about, and they say some bullshit. They say some absolute garbage. And I'm listening like, that sounds stupid, but they find a way to justify how they voted for me. It was that moment in my life where I realized, oh, like I can kind of talk, right? Like I can kind of like communicate ideas, even if I'm not like doing it in the most accurate way in these specific rounds. And, there is something else there, perseverance, energy, emotion, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that can get people to agree with me. And I got addicted to that feeling, dude. I loved it. I just absolutely, this is why the market open is so special to me. This is why I don't care about the money. Sam Altman jokes aside, I really care about the process of doing it every day, because doing it every day is the same feeling, not in a debate round, but the same feeling of like having to build an argument, having to back it up with data. You may not know everything. You might be, confused on certain parts, but all of that process of bringing it together and hopefully get better and better and better every day as you learn more and more. And you get to convince an audience of like hopefully getting value from that. And a lot of that's not argumentative, because I'm not really making an argument. A lot of time it's reporting what's happening. So when the Saudis pump oil, there's no like, I mean, you could say there's a good or bad to that, but there's also an objective truth. When the Saudis pump oil, what is that going to do to the stock market? And that's an analysis you have to have. Now, there's a bull case, there's a bear case, but I'm not really taking a side when I'm trying to present that macro argument. I'm just trying to present it. Now on Robinhood, I'll take a side, right? Like Palantir, I'll take a side. There's certain biases I have, but otherwise it's the fun of the game. But it was really fun in high school when I would get these random human beings, these people I don't know, that are like, well, I think Amit is making, and I would love it, dude. It was really fun. It was really cool. And then I would look over to my opponent and they would be steaming, because they can't, once you submit a ballot in debate, it's done. You cannot change your ballot. That's like that doesn't happen. Like unless you literally press the wrong decision. And even then it's like that's why whenever you're at a tournament, they tell you, hey, make sure when you submit your ballot, you are picking the right thing. And they give you like 3 warnings before you press submit. It's a software called tabroom.com that controls all this stuff. And you've got to do it. And so, even if they were convinced by my opponent of why they should have won, they can't do it. They voted for me. So they have to find a way to justify it. And ends up sometimes being, the energy that they feel, along with hopefully some good arguments. Shem Pasta says this explains the jokes things. Exactly, dude. When I would get my judges to laugh, that's how I would knew. Like, dude, when I got my judges to laugh, even with these like silly, stupid jokes, like I knew I was like creeping my way into getting their ballot and like getting ready to get them to vote for me. And then you just have to have some good arguments and hopefully bring it home as well. Donald Trump calls for Nancy Pelosi to be prosecuted for insider trading. Okay, so that's an interesting one. That I guess we'll see. Well, Trump's going after Pelosi. All right, there you go. I guess that's how we'll end the show. I have to start yapping for another 2 hours on Twitter Spaces. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you all for enjoying. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the market close. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be live 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. PCE data comes out. Hopefully that PCE data is good and we can keep the momentum going. Thank you again, everybody, for today. It was an exciting day. A lot of stuff. If you still want to hear more of me, I'll be live on Twitter for the next 2 hours, even though I'm like literally ready to pass out. And I'll be talking about probably OpenAI. That's going to be the main topic for today. All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.